This episode of An Unexpected Podcast is brought to you by Cecily Francis.
Thanks very much, love.
This episode of An Unexpected Podcast is brought to you by Cecily Francis. Thank you. Hello, friends, and welcome to An Unexpected Podcast. I'm Ez.
And I'm Lane.
And we're talking Tolkien.
We're coming to you from the Shire of America, the beautiful state of Ohio, in a little village we like to call Amanda.
Wow. Yeah. Every once in a while, you like to switch it up on me.
Yeah, yeah.
You keep me on my toes.
I do. Because, you never yawn.
I don't yawn.
Trying to get it out of you.
I never will.
One of these days.
You'll try. You'll keep trying. Well, this week we've got some difficult decisions to make as we join our heroes in the choices of Master Samwise as a part of our journey through Middle-earth.
Yeah.
Man, the choices.
I'm just thinking, man.
You're messing with me right now.
Wouldn't it be great if we, one of these days, just finally did it?
I have no control.
We jumped in and we just, started a podcast.
I never had control.
But we'd have to get the name absolutely right. Perfect, in fact.
Uh-huh.
What do you think? You got any ideas?
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, we could do the Red Fury podcast.
I do feel Red Fury every once in a while.
Okay.
How about the Loosed Tongue podcast?
Oh.
Or we let it fly every once in a while, don't we?
Yeah. Wow, I like it. All right. How about the Galadriel's File podcast? Right?
It makes sense. That'd be enlightening.
Oh my.
How about the Orc Voices?
Oh Lord. The Orc Voices?
Yeah.
I don't know.
One of these days.
Yeah, we got
keep working on it.
We got some work to do.
Let's brainstorm.
Okay. Well, that was unexpected.
That's the name.
There's kind of
That's what we should do.
There's kind of a theme developing here. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But all right, friends. Well, here we are.
Yes.
It is early. It's early.
Are you talking about the time again?
I'm talking about...
That's the number one rule.
I'm talking about how early it is. And are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong?
I thought I heard something.
I know your house is really giving me the... I don't know. It could be just where we're at. We just got out of Shelob's.
Does she lob?
Does she lob? I don't know.
Or she keep?
She keep. She catch. She toss. I don't know what she does, but she definitely lob. So
she sting.
Look out. Every once in a while she might
sting her. I don't know.
People are already kind of like, oh boy,
here we are getting bloated again.
Here we are. Here we are.
You got a couple of shout outs to throw out there, don't you, my friend?
Yeah, I do. Before we hop on the quick counsel, so we've got Elise, all right, and Nikki. So we've got Elise's Sherston's sister, and I think it's Nikki, right? Nikki is Sherston's roommate.
Yeah. Okay,
and then we've got also Luke Scharf.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
I think so. I think you did. Yeah.
I think I nailed it. I nailed it. So yeah, quick shout out to them. So we were kind of asking in the Discord chat, are there any friends out there, new members, people who are listening?
Mm-hmm.
Where's everybody at? Do we
are
need
people
to give
still
a couple
with us?
Where's everybody at? What's happening? Yeah, we're way ahead.
Are we here?
People stopped after episode 10. And we didn't know about it. So
on we go, my friend.
On we go. So quick counsel.
Yeah. What's up, brother? How are you?
Well, brah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
This is Charlotte Hinton's favorite segment.
Seriously?
She commented on the Pippin's Palantir.
Yeah.
Over just, we said, what's your favorite moments from the podcast, this past book, or from the Two Towers itself in the story? And she said, hearing you guys catch up.
Wow.
Is my favorite part.
That's awesome.
It's my least favorite part.
Are you kidding me?
No, yeah. I love it, dude. I love it, bro.
Same.
It's the illusion. Are we friends? I don't know.
I know.
How are you doing?
I got you. I'm doing great.
You ready for summertime or the weekend, as I usually used to call it?
It's all the same to me at this point. It's all the same.
It's all the same.
I'm ready to get there. And on that note, I this week, school's been crazy. Mm-hmm. We're trying to wrap things up for the year.
Yep.
Stress is high.
Yeah, high level.
But we're having fun. We're reading the human reproduction test out loud to 15 14, 15, and 16-year-olds. So you can only imagine how that went for me this week. There's a story there. It's on Patreon.
Yes,
Go check it out.
Yes, it is.
We will talk more about it, but a lot of big words and some private words.
Yeah.
But
some glowing underbellies. Like Shelob.
Like Shelob.
You know?
So, yeah, that's been my week. But, yeah, I'm happy to be here. Like it feels like we had a good chance to catch up. We had a great Narnia episode.
Yes, we did.
I actually thoroughly enjoyed that with Goldberry. So if you haven't had a chance to go check out Further Up, please go do so. We're going to try to rotate between those once we get into Return of the King. So
that Turkish Delight was probably my favorite. No, not probably. It was my favorite thing we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Ever done. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was
amazing.
Really cool. Really cool.
It's just like those moments, those moments you can't plan for.
Mm-hmm.
That just you turn the mics on, you start talking.
Yep.
You forget they're there, and that's what happens.
That's what happens.
Yeah,
it was great. It was great. So, how are
So
you, my friend? You all right?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Talked about it on Further Up, but my mom is retiring, so went yesterday to her retirement ceremony, I guess.
Yeah.
Called it graduation ceremony before because I'm out of it. Whatever. Dad life, bro. Dad life.
Yeah, like you're raising 2 kids. I don't.
Yeah, and it's all Sarah. I'm just here, warm body. But so it was really cool to see her. My mom, you guys know her because you've heard her here.
Mm-hmm.
But she is the most humble human being and the kindest, most beautiful soul. I mean, she's just
wonderful.
I mean, it's crazy. Like I have friends who are also friends with my mom. Like they started as just my friends, and they started hanging out with my parents, and they love my parents, my dad too.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. She's that kind of a woman. She makes everyone feel special. She just gives continuously, and it was cool to see other people, get emotional to see her leaving, and it was a moving day, and then to have the girls there, Charlotte and Winnie with us, and she goes, mom goes up there, to have her boss talk about her, and and Winnie goes, Winnie, and she's like yelling for her,
Oh, really?
And she got so mom was the last one, of course, because it's alphabetical, so I had to eventually take Winnie out because it was just a long ceremony, but yeah, man, I don't know. It's cool. It's if you teach or you have a seasonal job, this is a kind of another time of reflection, right? Where it's the end of a school year, you already kind of start looking ahead to the next year, and you think, how can I be a better teacher? How can I make school a better place? What can I do better? And how can I empower my students more? And it's a nice time of year. But yeah, I don't know. I'm ready for summertime. I'm ready for getting out there and working in the studio and being home more, and maybe catching up on this sleep debt at some point. But
right,
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
You're gonna sleep when you're
as
dead.
they say,
yeah,
or when I'm Frodo.
I walked in here. When you're Frodo. I looked at Lane. I looked at Sarah.
Yeah.
And I just no words, guys. They're wonderful. They're troopers. They're awesome people, and it's cool. I don't know. I know you guys are.
It's cool.
It's cool. You guys just keep giving. You just keep giving of yourselves, and you're raising 2 beautiful.
Oh, it's the best, man. But I mean, that's the thing. I sound like I'm not complaining whatsoever. It's just
no.
It's worth.
It's a reality.
It is, man. It is. Yeah, and it's just I don't know. It's crazy. Because I always, we've talked about this before. I have trouble sleeping, right?
Yeah.
And, but it's amazing. I've gone way beyond those barriers. I used to have barriers where I would hit walls and I would just pass out. And now it's almost like when I have time to sleep, it's like I have other things I want to get done.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put off sleep even more. But yeah, and what is important, you got to take care of yourself too. So I've also got better at being okay, slow down here, relax.
Yeah.
Don't try and do too much. You need time to rest too. So,
man,
it's good. Life is good, my friend. Life is sweet. We get to sit here and talk to our friends. And
we've been talking to everybody on Discord. We've had the great Narnia podcast. It has been a really good evening.
Yeah,
and catching up with you guys. So we're blessed. We really are. So
too blessed to be stressed.
That's right. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, my friend. We moving on here to
I got some dropping eaves. Sorry, excuse me. I got to do some reading here. Okay, so nothing new. I do have a couple corrections. You got a little excited last week, but again, that the Amazon show is going to start filming very soon in August of this year. They're going to do a 3-month block until the end of November. Take a little break in winter. Come back in March and do another 3 or so month block.
Wait,
in 2020.
Time out.
Yeah. What up?
So, wait a second. Why do you just? Did you? Sometimes I just lose. I just lose it.
Yeah. Well,
right. I mean, we know that.
Yeah. The Ring.
People know that Ez just loses it.
Yeah.
They're filming in August.
Yes.
So you mean like in a couple months?
Yeah, dude. Yes. That's when I was saying.
Come on.
Last week, the script's done. The script has to be done. It was probably done like. What? I mean, I don't know. Maybe like as. I would think like maybe even like a month or two ago, because
is this being rushed?
I don't think so. I just think I think they've known for a while what they were going to be doing with this.
All right.
And I think, I guess they could still. I mean, and that might be with the films they were constantly tweaking the script, so maybe that might be part of it too.
Yeah,
they've got a good enough base where they can start pitching to actors and actresses. But there's the other thing too is they're not going to have to do a whole lot of pitching. They're going to have people swarming them to come after these roles. So that's the other thing too is they could have.
Are they in casting right now, or what's going on?
I would think they're moving that direction. If they're going to be filming in August, yes,
they have to have their.
They have to either have it narrowed down, or yes, they know,
or they know they're cast
yet. Right. So that's very exciting. So that's something that we'll be getting within the next couple months. I'm guessing, especially if they're filming. And there'll be people kind of spying to see what's going on. So there'll be photos of people in costume, and we'll be able to tell who it is. Or they might be unknowns. You never know. Right. So anyway, that's really exciting. Their studio is going to be based in Leith in Edinburgh. Might be Leith. I'm not sure. Up in Scotland. So very exciting times. Everyone who's into Game of Thrones, this is an exciting time for you as well because the show's kind of wrapping up. It's the final season, right? Mm-hmm. And big things are happening there, and it's just kind of cool. You have, a couple years ago, you would have been like, well, what are we looking forward to next? Well, here it is. We're going to be traveling to the Second Age and, getting a glimpse of Numenor and who knows what else. So, yeah, very exciting. I don't know if we've talked about this. We've kind of mentioned it, but there have been questions about where our reread is going to go after The Lord of the Rings is finished. Mm-hmm. With the direction of the show.
Go ahead.
Should we just dive into the Silmarillion?
Let's put it to a vote. I would love to. Quite frankly, I would absolutely love to. I'm down to savor The Hobbit. Lane's looking at me like I got my hands on my head right now.
I love it.
Because I would actually enjoy it. And I think what's neat, I know we were going to save this for later. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll mention it now, and then we have a clip later that we'll play.
Yeah.
But Phil Seidel.
Yeah. Good
friend of ours. I'm really...
He's bringing the archives to life.
He really is, and we're very excited. We want to help him in any way that we can. So I think we're going to have other friends. We have a really great group behind us to help us, get through that and make the connections. Yep. And I feel like everyone feels pretty safe. If you haven't learned by now, with Lane and I, that we've always said we're hobbits going through this, and we want to learn. We want to learn and grow together.
Yep.
Everyone comes into the group at different places.
Yeah.
And some of you have come in at master level. You
never left.
Yeah, exactly. You're Elrond, you're whatever. Yeah, you didn't leave like Lane and I. Who we grew up, loved it, all that good stuff. Drifted away, came back again, and then came back again and again. So it's just kind of neat. And if you are that lore master, step up, become a teacher. Yeah. And like that's something I love about Phil is that teach, help us get there, because there's gonna be so many cool connections with the Second Age, and it is daunting. Yeah. In the revisions, the way that he went about, the way the Silmarillion came out, the way some of those histories are tied in, and people trying to understand how you navigate it. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. We have plenty of friends. Kurt Jones is another great individual who we'd love to have on more.
Nick Freeberg.
Yes, Nick would be great.
And those are just people that we know and we've met in person. There's lots of you out there that we...
Christopher Michael does a great job.
Michael, yeah, absolutely. Michael Upshaw. I mean, there are tons of you in the group, uppers that have this really rich background knowledge. Like you got into Lord of the Rings, and then you were so hungry you went into Silmarillion. Where like me, I never left. I was a Hobbit, comfortable to stay in the Shire, and I never got out. But I'm so excited for. I would love that to be the direction. We get done, we go into the Silmarillion. We're in the midst of, because we move through first age, we get into the second age, and then by that time we're probably ready for the show to come out, and we're primed and ready to go.
Yeah.
Then we hit when we hit the reunion tour for Lord of the Rings, we do the reread. We hit the Hobbit up before.
Start with the Hobbit. It's exactly what we do.
And we've got all the unfinished tales and the book of lost tales and the red stuff that he did that he never even finished.
So many histories. There are so many things, even just with Lord of the Rings, that are. By the way, I told you I spent like $300 ordering all of those books just to make sure I had everything. Crazy.
Just throw it out there.
It's messed up.
I could have got new gutters for that, by the way.
It really burdened. I took a big hit.
Yeah, it's like putting the ring on your neck.
You know why I did it? Seriously, the showrunners. I blame them. I blame that Twitter account.
Yeah.
As soon as that came out and the map was out there.
It's exciting.
What did the Flannel Wizard do? I went and I bought all the histories. Anything I didn't have, I bought it and I said, give it to me now. Yep. Let me consume it. So that's what.
You got a bunch of maps too, right?
That as well. Yeah. So I'm really excited.
Well, and it's an exciting time. So lots to look forward to. More news to come. There you go. You got an idea of kind of where we're going as a book club. We will sort of steer in that direction, and can't wait. I do have one correction. I said that I said John Howe and Howard Shore are going to be linked to the show. I was wrong. I misread and misremembered. Unless maybe I just know something that no one else knows.
There are things that no one else knows.
Wink, wink. But it was actually John Howe and Tom Shippey, the biographer of Tolkien, that were involved in helping make the map for Twitter.
Yeah.
So not as cool as what I said last week, but still, pretty neat.
That's cool.
If John Howe is involved in that respect, then at least I really hope he is involved with kind of the pre-production and the design and stuff like that. Especially with his expertise with the like creating a lot of the Gondorian armor and the swords and all that stuff. That if he was able to create concept work for the Numenorians as well, that'd be cool, because I think he was kind of already doing that anyway with Lord of the Rings, especially with you look at stuff from the battle at when Isildur cut the ring. They were closer to that time than obviously where we were in the Third Age and currently in the reread. So just kind of that backwards engineering that he was doing, I think would be kind of cool to see continue. So
yeah, that's awesome.
So more news to come there. But right now, because it's right before this is coming out, actually we just saw Paul Thompson over there in the UK is watching it as we speak. Wow. The Tolkien biopic. So we're so jealous, man.
I feel like I heard about this a long time ago.
Yeah, like didn't someone say it was going to come out 6 months ago? In 6 months,
I think someone did.
Us?
It was some. They were the guys that were trying to figure out the name for their podcast, but they didn't. It was one of the guys on there. I don't know. He's
a couple of dorks, man.
Yeah.
Nah, they're solid
pretty
guys. Just kidding. Well, one of them is.
We don't. Yeah.
Which one it is, we don't know. But the Tolkien biopic coming out, there's an early release May 7th. We're talking here in the U.S. It's kind of opening all over the place in other parts of the world. Someone posted, I can't remember who, that in the country they reside in, it's not coming out until September.
Really?
September. And I was like, no, that's bad news. I believe it's a new member to the group. I'm not totally sure. Anyway, release date, there's an early release on May 7th. There's all this kind of cool Q&A thing with Stephen Colbert that's being coordinated through all these theaters. And then it opens kind of nationwide on May 10th, which is next Friday. So we are going to go to the Marcus Theater in Pickerington is what we've kind of decided on, or Pickertington, as I wrote there. And we're going to go to the, I think it's a 6:55 showing.
Yep.
So if you're close by or in the area and you'd like to go see it with us, that's our plan. That's where we're going to be. By the time you hear this, we will have bought our tickets. And but if you can't make it with us, or you'd rather see it closer to home, we are all going to try and do some sort of Discord and then also Facebook Live thing where we can kind of you can get our reactions to it. We can hear your feedback, and it's just going to be really cool because we will have we could probably make a whole episode in the future of just cool things that people have said from the group.
Yep.
Maybe even talking to some of our patrons and getting their reactions and putting that in some kind of episode as well. It's just going to be interesting because so many people have not only knowledge of these stories, but then have studied Tolkien as a person, his biography. And we're going to talk about it here in a second, but there will be some discrepancies, but there will also be a spirit that's captured. And so I'm really, really excited about that. What do you got, my brother?
Well, no, I love that. And I was just thinking as you were speaking, I like the idea of us getting in Discord and giving folks the opportunity to speak back to us and us record that. So I will do my best to make sure we had some, little hiccups before, but we'll get those figured out.
It's the internet here in Amanda.
Yeah, well,
Shire.
It's
on dial-up.
We should be fine. I think it's also just me making sure I can get their voices. Remember the last time I did that? It was just like,
oh, it was so cool. Yeah, it sounded kind of
okay. It was a little weird, but we I think
T-Rexy. It was
T-Rexy.
T-Rexy.
I fixed it. I mean, I'm sorry. I have to do this. Sherston literally sounded like,
no, she didn't.
And that is not what Sherston actually sounds like. So just so you guys know, I mean, if you couldn't tell, that's not what she sounds like.
Oh, it's funny.
Sorry, Sherston.
Oh, it's funny.
Anyways, her and Phil, they're up late with us sometimes.
That's hilarious.
It's great. Shout out to them.
Yes, absolutely. So we have, I'm calling it plenty of Hobbiton drama. A lot of this stuff Ezra hasn't heard. I've kind of kept it secret from him, and I wanted to get his reaction. So I don't know. It's just interesting. It's interesting. It's not. I'm probably making it a bigger. I'm not going to make it a big deal. I'm just gonna read what it is, and you guys can kind of decide. But there's the Tolkien estate has recently kind of released a statement that disavows the Tolkien biopic. So pretty much what they said in this article on The Guardian is just that they don't endorse this film or its content in any way. They talk about how they weren't involved. We wish to make this is a quote. We wish to make clear that they did not approve of, authorize, or participate in the making of this film, and that they do not endorse it in any way. What else do they say?
Okay.
Something about this is a work of fiction which is neither endorsed nor connected with the J.R.R. Tolkien estate or its publisher. A biographer, John Garth, who wrote Tolkien and the Great War, said that he feels like this estate's response to the film was sensible, that biopics typically take considerable license with the facts, and this one is no exception. Endorsement by the Tolkien family would lend credibility to any divergences and distortions that would be a disservice to history. As a biographer, I expect I'll be busy correcting new misconceptions arising from the movie. I hope that anyone who enjoys the film and is interested in Tolkien's formative years will pick up a reliable biography. Okay, nothing wrong with that. That's fine. In the same way that when I saw Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson's films, I picked up the actual book and discovered the story that inspired the films. Christopher Tolkien, there's a quote, they bring up a quote that he had in 2012, telling Le Monde that Tolkien has become a monster devoured by his own popularity and absorbed by the absurdity of our time, and that the commercialization has reduced the aesthetic and philosophical impact of the creation to nothing. So just kind of interesting. Pretty much they're just saying, look, we weren't involved in the making of this film. We don't endorse it in any way, and there's a lot of stuff in it that isn't true to what really occurred, is the gist. I do find this interesting because I think last episode we said, hey, we wonder what the involvement with the Tolkien estate was. And then this article comes out. It's like, I don't know. Are they listening? Maybe. No. But so that was that led to a response from Nicholas Hoult and Lily Collins, who play young J.R.R. Tolkien and Edith Bratt. And they're just kind of coming out in defense of the film after some of this criticism from the family. So anyway, what Nicholas Hoult says is, I think it's been done very respectfully as a fan. It's a story that stands alone. Such a remarkable life. His relationships, what he endured in World War I, what inspired him. Hopefully, it will inspire new audiences now. Lily Collins had this to say. She said, I believe that it's an amazing story to tell. Everyone who sees the film agrees that we have to do honor to the man himself. To just know the stories would be a shame. To know the man himself is the right honor. The director, Dom Karakowski, who we've talked about before, says that the film was made with love and respect. He believes Tolkien would approve of the dramatic interpretation. He also says, that the Tolkien estate hasn't seen the film. He said it's a labor of love. It is done with respect and admiration for the professor. It's a dramatic, beautiful, cinematic tale. It feels odd that any storyteller wouldn't want that on screen. There's also another article where he kind of talks about the fact that they didn't work with the Tolkien estate, and that they believe that they would have kind of suffocated the creativity and some of their creative licenses. Honestly, you try not to work with the estate for reasons obvious. Even if it would be out of kindness to ask the estate, you start servicing them, they become your friends. You shouldn't mess with the estate so the film can exist purely for your own reasons and your own feelings about the characters. We did very, very thorough research. We understand these characters, and the emotional truth of them is very true. To dig out the emotional truth of the characters, you have to try to not hide certain evidence. And when you work with an estate, what happens is that kind of gets suffocated. You're not allowed to do certain things so that the audience can feel an emotion from it. So just kind of these two perspectives. So I all that to say, I see where the Tolkien estate's coming from. Mm-hmm. They have spent their whole life sort of defending the integrity of Tolkien, the man, and then also his epic creation, right?
Yeah, sure.
But at the same time, this is a creation that he decided to publish, right?
Right.
And when you publish something, it's a decision. It's a decision to share it with the world, and then that kind of gives it a second life. There's a life it had when he was creating it, and as he continued to create it, and there's a life that we have kind of given it as well, as it lives through us, even now through our book club, right? And also because of its success, it kind of helps pay the bills as well. But I also understand where the film's creators are coming from, that we can't simply go through and it's not a biography, it's a dramatic interpretation of his life. So we have to feel certain things, we have to convey emotions, we have to some things might be a little more dramatized than they would have been in real life, but that's because it's a film, it's a short period of time. It's not the same experience you have as if you were living it, right? In life, we have these buildups that slowly happen. A film, you got like an hour and a half, 2 hours to hit the points home in a lot of different aspects of someone's life. So I don't know. While the Tolkien estate, their guardianship is very admirable because it's so rare these days. I don't know. I mean, it came across kind of more of like a Sackville Baggins than a Gamgee to me. And I get it, but at the same time, it didn't seem like there was any kind of willingness to collaborate. You know what I mean? On the part of the Tolkien estate. But the really cool thing is Lily Collins brought this up. She said that his great grandson, I think Callum Tolkien, is actually in the film. He plays a World War I soldier.
Seriously?
So it seems like some of the younger Tolkiens, they're more willing. Obviously, the rights have been sold to Amazon. So that's also kind of the hypocrisy I'm not really understanding. They're like we don't want anyone other than ourselves to have control, but yet we're going to sell the rights here for Silmarillion and we want his story shared and told, but only if we can have total control over it. I don't know. But one of Tolkien's biggest fears was it being taken and being changed so much that it was no longer his. I didn't realize this in doing some of this research. Mm-hmm. He actually, what did he do? He fought against Disney getting the rights to his stories. Disney came after him hard, I think, in the 60s.
Really? Okay.
And really, really wanted the rights for Lord of the Rings to create dramatic interpretations.
Okay.
And he would not do it. So that's still something that they are still defending against. So anyway, I don't know. It's just interesting to me. It's very interesting. The timing is interesting, and I think something that really, at least from the trailer, now none of us have seen it, but from the trailer and from all the reviews that are out there, it seems like it captures the tone of who this man was, or at least who we've learned this man to be, mm-hmm. right? And I think that should be celebrated. I think, we'll obviously talk about it more once we've seen the movie, but I still can't wait for it. I don't need it to be, letter for letter, word for word, exactly what happened in his real life. There can be some embellishment. That's fine with me. He was a creative human being. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he saw things in ways that he could never convey to other people. Right. We see it perfectly in some of those scenes where we talk about it over and over again, the explosion where that face of fire is there, or he's imagining that light wheel thing go around, and he sees all these characters that are on the wall, and they jump into his head, and it's part of a story as well. So mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, there's got to be some creative license in all this. So what do you think about that, my friend?
Wow, I've just been sitting over here. I am kind of blown away. I'm honestly kind of blown away. And
I tempered that big time, because when I first read that, I was like,
you were
really?
upset.
I was like, come on, like,
yeah.
And if you're gonna be frustrated,
because we were so
step in before and say, hey, we want to be a part of this in some respect, and then meet some kind of, like, have some middle ground where you work with them, you give and take.
Yeah.
You don't suffocate the film's production, but you also make sure that certain things are portrayed the way you want them to. I don't know. It just seems,
because I don't know, and I would love to hear more about that. I'm trying to do some,
and it's a very complex history too. Well, that's the thing.
That's what I'm wondering too. Like how do you get the rights to do a biopic?
That's a great question. Great question.
On Tolkien, like, did they have to go through this state? I guess not, right?
No, it's just not endorsed. Like it's not endorsed. They can say this isn't,
can anyone do it
backed by us?
Could you and I,
do one on ourselves? Absolutely.
I just think that's interesting. So
it is, yeah.
I do get it. I was, the what was his name? The biographer who was kind of talking about the idea that it's sensible for them to kind of say that, just so folks know. I think there's maybe a better way to say it, though, right? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I'm only kind of just getting this as you're feeding it to me here. But there's a way to say that, like, we don't endorse this simply because it's not what we would consider an accurate depiction of.
But they also haven't seen the film.
Right.
How do they know?
I don't know about that. That's all a little bonkers to me.
Right.
Unless it's like the son, one of the distant relatives has been in the film and knows something about it, and it says, hey, they're doing all this, crazy wonky stuff, which I don't know that they are yet. We have no idea until we see it.
Right.
But that is interesting, and maybe that is what they just meant by it, was that, like, just so everyone knows, we're trying to keep this pure and what have you. Mm-hmm. I didn't know they got into all this stuff, this back and forth with New Line and the royalties, the film royalties. I didn't know that was a thing until I just looked this up here.
There was like a huge settlement and stuff. And
and it was, and actually some of it has been closed off, and the terms were not made public, and all this stuff. So, and then that allowed them to move forward with the Hobbit. So, there's something there. But as you said before, here's what I think. If it's such a great story, there's so many cool things to this, and he did publish it. And he didn't
have to do that.
No, he did not. And it seemed like he wanted to share his story with the world. Well, if that was what he wanted to do,
you can't have it both ways.
Well, right? what I'm thinking is a biopic might bring people into the story that you wanted to share with the world. So it actually, and also anything that the Tolkien estate would do, whether it's a biography or whatever it may be. I feel like all these different things could lead you back to the the source work. And I get where they're saying, well, that stuff gets so far away from the original source that
I get that.
It distorts it and it takes it out of away from its pureness, you know? So although I do understand that it's like, I think it's
kind of a head scratcher, isn't it? Because it's like that guy, the biographer said, it'll drive people, or he said, I hope it does, and I think it will. It will. Yeah. I guarantee you'll see a sale rise in Tolkien biographies. I guarantee they'll sell more books about. I was going to say, they'll say what was true and what wasn't. I got to go find out for myself.
I'd love to look at book sales before the Lord of the Rings came out and after Lord of the Rings films came out.
There was definitely a spike around the time of the films.
I bet there was, because I bet there were people who were like, I want to go, what is this? Is awesome. Let's go look at this. Yep. And then you get in the books, you're like, that's so much better. Yep. And that you're smart. I mean, trust your audience. I think we know that the books are the reason we want to make a biopic, or the reason we want to make a movie series or a TV show, is because they were better. They were that good.
And I think maybe that's you just articulated in a sentence what I was fumbling around with is I think maybe their disavowalment, I think it maybe kind of insults me as an audience member, where I wasn't going into Tolkien thinking, oh, everything in it is going to be absolute gospel.
Yeah.
It's going to be like they had a camera rolling on his life. Right. It's going to be exactly. I'm not dumb.
Right.
I know that they're going to take creative liberties. I know that they're going to make it more dramatic than it probably was, because guess what? Real life isn't like a movie. We all know that. Like we go to movies to feel a certain way, to get the more and more and more. It's less about like exact details and more about the spirit of something, the emotions and the feelings and the heart behind something. And you know, I look at those clips and I see Edith talking about the meaning of words, and how many clips we've seen that have been focused on language. And how many people know that was Tolkien's first love in the first place, was that love of language. That will get people going like, oh, I had no idea he made up languages and played with words.
There's a lot of people who don't know that.
But that because of this film, it will become more common knowledge.
It's a side. You start to look into his other works. You look at his early life and say, well, what did he do? Why was he so interested? When did he start making his languages? And
what languages influenced him? Like what, you know? Yeah.
So I don't know. And here's the other thing too, is the last thing I want to say is that maybe the estate this is their standard. This is something that they just have had to do.
Fair. And that's fair game too.
You also have a lot of different people. I was looking at the people who are in charge of, you know, as you said, in 2017, Christopher stepped down, and those who are in charge of this. And he did make a statement about the films and how he sort of his disdain for some of that.
And I understand that too, because there are things we've talked about, things about the film that we don't like, and it wasn't even like our father's works.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I can understand that being really 100%. Sensitive and frustrating and aggravating. But
exactly, because that is his father. These are the stories that he heard growing up. So
much closer to home.
Totally understand that. And but I'm also thinking you have a lot of different individuals, and as I say, the younger members of the family. Want their generation to know about this and know about their grandfather, great-grandfather's works or whatever. And so if a way to kind of get that out there is through a biopic that maybe we can't endorse, let's do it.
Right.
If we can't endorse it, it's fine, whatever. We can't, but like, come on, can we like, this is cool. They're into, the people are back into it.
It could not be made at all. You know what I mean? Like we could forget about Tolkien and he could disappear into
on a shelf
into nothing,
and no one could ever read it.
Right? Or do you want people getting? I don't know. Yeah. So it's interesting. But anyway, the hype for the movie I think is building. In sort of other corners, Holt and Collins were recently on Colbert to promote the film. So thank you to Francisco for posting that and sharing that with us. Also, I think Susie probably put it somewhere. And we know she welcomes everyone to the upper community as Colbert does. Welcome to the Nerd Zone. But even with all that stuff, I'm so excited to see the film. Can't wait. And it will cause me to, or push me back into. I have his biographies in my library that I haven't touched since high school.
Yeah.
And after this movie, I'm gonna think, man, I got to get back in there.
Yeah, I want to
reread those. I gotta go back and discover who the man was.
And as a last little disclaimer, Lane and I don't think I don't understand. I will speak for myself. I don't understand the complexities of the Tolkien estate and what their responsibility is.
I don't really want to. I don't really want to. It's like,
and it's nothing against them.
No,
I sincerely don't. We are just consumers, and we are just fans. We love his works so much, and we love him, and we love what he's done. So hear that in everything that we say.
Yeah.
So we're excited about this new project, but we also can see why maybe they wouldn't be.
Yeah, totally.
But also, all they can do is issue this quick little statement. You know what I mean? We don't get to sit down and have a conversation, ask them, like, why?
Yeah.
You know.
And maybe here's the other thing, too. See the movie first.
Yeah.
See the movie first as an estate, and then speak your piece.
Yeah.
But then I think maybe they think it would be after the fact, and I don't know. Maybe they wanted to
maybe they think it would do more damage if they did it after the fact.
And it might. I don't know, from their point of view. So it is. It's just an interesting
it's complex
perspective. Yes, it is. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
But it was fun to talk about, too, and it was fun to research. Yeah. I had fun like reading all those articles and just thinking about, man, this is just totally different.
It's neat to
motivations. One is to just protect ultimate integrity, and the other one is to
show appreciation.
Yes, to honor a man. And I think too, like if the the Tolkien estate had a lot of gripes with Lord of the Rings, the films.
Yeah.
If those weren't made, I'm not here right now. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of people who aren't fans. Like they don't go on to read the books. Mm-hmm. They don't, it's not a touchstone in their life that is incredibly meaningful to them. Yeah. And isn't that ultimately what Tolkien wanted? I would think if he wanted to share it in the first place, he wanted this to be an important works that people cherish, and he's created a backstory to England, to Middle Earth, like a legend that was created by someone who's British for the British people and for the world to enjoy. So yeah. All right. Well, in other corners of Middle Earth, our last poll, we had the question that we've all been asked since we were in kindergarten: is you scared of spiders? 60% of you said yes, not a fan of the arachnids. And 40% said, nah, not scary at all. 192 votes. Really cool participation. We love that. Some more stuff going on. We got the unexpected candle from Rachel and 3 special scents. So go to the Texas Candle Cakery and get your own right now. Order one of every scent.
Absolutely.
Burn them when you read, when you listen. Worth it. They are worth it. And then we've got Travis Sigler from Upweird Leather and Mead. Go to the website. Use the promo code UPWYRD, UPWYRD, and you can get one of the Unexpected Podcast coasters for $10. Shipping and everything included right to your door. Travis is actually going to be dressing as Boromir, I believe. And his friend is going to be Faramir. And they're going to be representing themselves as cosplayers at the Tolkien LA premiere.
So cool.
So lucky son of a gun.
That's awesome.
Go have an awesome time, Travis. Let us know about it. Do a Facebook Live from the red carpet if you don't mind. I want to know where our invitation was. We've been talking about this movie forever.
That's right.
But I will settle to live vicariously through Travis. We're really excited for him. That is an awesome invitation that he got. And look forward to seeing photos.
Absolutely.
We also have, real quick, we want to talk to Phil Seidel. We could talk about what he's going to be doing, but it would be better to just, get him on the phone, and he would explain it better than we could. And actually, we have Phil with us right now. So instead of me continuing to mumble and stutter and fumble over my steps, classic Butterbur mode about this amazing podcast that you can support, let's have Phil tell you about us. Yeah, I can't talk. Let's have Phil fill us in himself. So, Phil, it's time the world hears your voice, and we're glad you're doing this. Can you tell us a little bit about the Minas Tirith Archives, the History of Middle-earth podcast, what it's going to be about, what inspired you, and why the world needs this podcast?
Sure, yeah. So a lot of people are probably already familiar with the Facebook page, the Minas Tirith Archives, History of Middle-earth. And basically, I started that in this past September, and it kind of took off a lot, pretty fast, a lot faster than I was expecting. And after a lot of people kind of whispering in my ear, hey, you need to make this a podcast, I eventually just kind of was convinced to do it. And so basically, we're just kind of taking what you're familiar with from the Facebook page and putting it into podcast form, a little more of like a audiobook version, plus some extra stuff. Like we'll take listener questions and kind of go over anything that someone wants clarified or just wants to know a little more about. And we're going to add in some other little things just to kind of make it a little different. So it's not just, I'm just reading, a Facebook post to you.
What would be wrong with that? I'd really enjoy that.
I mean, that will be part of it.
Yeah, good. Okay.
It will be going over the Facebook post, and then just kind of twist it up, add in some things to make it a little more fun and interesting. But it's basically going to kind of pair along with your guys' podcast, like it has been doing. And we're just picking the main person or the location or people group that the current chapter revolves around. And we're just going to dive in deep to the history of that person, place, or thing.
Wow.
Phil, I've already, in my mind's eye, hit the subscribe button.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I appreciate it.
I'm in. So let us know what do you need us as an upper community do to make sure that this takes off, this gets underway, and it's in our earbuds before we can even say Middle Earth.
Well, I started a Kickstarter just this morning, actually, at least when I was able to launch it. And it's basically just to cover kind of like the cost of the equipment, because this is my first podcast. So I don't have any microphones or recording equipment, the software editing or to edit all that.
Right.
So I'm starting from scratch. So basically I just started that. And people can go on the Kickstarter page. It's just a History of Middle Earth podcast. And you can search that and it should bring you right to that page. And there's some kind of like a little awards that I have built in, ranging from basically just a shout out and a thank you on the episode to like a behind the scenes episode or video that I'm going to do about the making of the Facebook page and the podcast and the posts. Up to like a t-shirt with the logo on it and everything, but based on support. Yeah. So and actually almost every person has that pledge support has gone right to that top level, so it's been awesome.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's no surprise, Phil, and it's, I don't know, I don't want to say it's about time, but it's about time.
Yeah.
It really is.
We've been pleading with you to just continue to fill us in. I mean, I think it started, I can't remember when we first started using that phrase, but at first I don't think people knew what we were talking about. And now it's come kind of full circle, or maybe 180, I guess, to now uppers are hearing your voice and making that connection that when we say, hey, fill us in, we're asking you, Phil Seidel, to fill in the gaps for us. And I'm excited about this. I would love to, we were talking about even having crossover periods where you jump in on an episode and you give a little quick historic reference so that Ez and I aren't kind of fumbling through it, because
that's what we do.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we do best. And you're in the archives, you're deep in that smoke and the Gandalf sweat and everything, and could do it much more efficiently than we can. Is that something that you'd be open to doing in the future?
Oh, for sure. Just put together a little elevator pitch about the person.
Absolutely.
Kind of summarize everything.
Elevator pitch, that's perfect. I love that.
That would be a problem.
Elevator going up?
Wow.
We're hoping.
Yeah, absolutely we are.
Hey, I got a quick question for Phil. So this would be great for when we get into like the show, right? I mean, as we get there, you could kind of help us understand the Second Age a little bit better, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm planning on following the books along with you guys, but also, like I already did, as you may have seen on the Facebook page, like I already did the Numenorians, just because I love those. That's probably like my favorite people group. And it's just kind of like in honor of the new show coming out. Now that we know Numenor is going to be included, I just couldn't contain myself and hold back.
Oh yeah,
I just got to do this now, because I just everyone must know about these amazing people. And so I made the post about them. And then, of course, I just kind of followed the Last Alliance war, and then I went right into the LOTR Through the Ages post.
Wow, man, I'm so excited. And the other thing for me too is like I'm excited that it's going to be taking this format because it's so much easier for me just with the way life is right now to throw in headphones and listen as opposed to having time to read. Mm-hmm. Because all my reading time is like dedicated to the chapter, you know what I mean? Like the reread and reading it again and then getting into Narnia now too. So this is like so exciting for me that I will be able to throw in my earbuds and hear essentially a elongated version of the Facebook page. I'm so excited in group. Yeah.
I've always kind of wondered that, like some of them, like, you know, the Numenorians or the Nildors, like I look at them like these are really long.
They're
like,
long. Yeah.
I'll type them out in Microsoft Word because Facebook starts freezing up on me because they get so long.
Hey, that sounds like a review you wrote once.
Basically, I'm like, okay, this is like 12 pages long. Like, I don't know how many people are going to actually read this, but whatever. I'm throwing it out there. And if they want it, they can have it. Like, there it is.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it.
Dude, that is awesome. We're going to have to, like, evolve this into, like, it's going to get so long, you're going to need a blog, you know, to keep track of everything.
Yeah.
I thought about that too, just to kind of keep it organized.
Yeah.
So they can have one place to go to and like kind of just search. I mean, like the Facebook page has a search option, but it's not the same.
Right. I mean, for right now, you still have all that content though that you have there that you could post on a blog later down the line. So
is it pronounced like blog or Belrog?
I have no idea.
I can't remember.
I have no clue.
I don't know what you know. You don't know what you're talking about.
I really don't. So that's why we have Phil. So. But
all right, Phil. Well, this is really exciting. We're gonna strongly recommend that everyone go check out the Kickstarter. Throw a few bucks Phil's way. It's investing in in something that's going to benefit all of us that we're all really excited for. We're going to be doing that ourselves, and we love you, man. We thank you so much for all that you do for our community and for all of us as uppers. And man, couldn't be more excited by this news, dude. Seriously.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the support, and I mean, you guys were a huge encouragement to me as well, like you said, about getting this started. So I can't thank you guys enough too, just for that, and just for starting your podcast, which kind of gave me the idea to start mine. So
awesome. That's cool.
Wow.
Awesome, Phil. All right, thanks, man. We'll be in touch for sure.
Problem.
All right, brother. We love you, man. Thank you. I mean, that was. Thanks, Phil, for jumping on the line and using the Horn of Gondor to call us up. That was, I know I've said it 1,000 times here, but I'm so excited for being able to be a listener to his podcast, and man, proud of him, excited. It's just, you look at just over the whole spectrum of what uppers are doing, and it's incredible, man. It's absolutely incredible.
It's awesome. We're super happy to kind of have him along to help us guide us through, some of these histories and nuances and things. And we were just kind of, that's something we were talking about beforehand too. It's just that there is so much to this that it's interesting. It's interesting to look at how Tolkien created this and what he wanted, out of it, and how it evolved into the story. And then there's those actual histories that kind of are the foundation for some of this. It's a lot. So it'll be nice to kind of fill us in. You know what I mean?
That's right, man. So that's right. All right, brother. We are into the reread.
Lord have mercy.
Chapter 10, The Choices of Master Samwise.
Wow. So here we go. Just a quick little summary for this chapter. It's not like a short chapter. It's kind of like a medium-sized chapter. It's not very long, but it's not very short either. So here we go. We were just lobbing with Shelob, all right, for possession of Frodo. I don't know. Like it was, spider in the middle. We were trying to. Yeah. So in the midst of all of that, Shelob, Sam, discovers that Frodo is sort of in this chapter, anyways. Discovers that Frodo is lying face up, and he's concerned, right? I mean, he thinks it's over.
Yeah.
Sam, Master is dead.
Dead.
Very
Not
sad.
asleep. Dead.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, he finds him laying up. He's tied up in Shelob's web. He's actually paralyzed.
Yeah.
Paralyzed.
Yeah.
He's not dead.
No.
But he looks it.
Yeah.
Can't move. Can't speak.
Can't even he can't feel a heartbeat or anything.
Nothing.
No breath. Nothing.
He's cold.
Yeah.
So the sight of his master in this awful state kind of just, fills him with this courage and this rage, and he actually charges Shelob.
Yeah.
Okay. He managed to kind of stab her in one eye, which went dark, leaving her, belly up over Sam. Shelob, she's getting ready to crush Sam, but instead throws herself down on his sword.
Yeah.
Bet you that hurt.
No kidding, dude.
Look out.
She doomed herself.
She did. She did. So she shudders in pain. She takes off, and he rushes to Frodo and kind of, Sam rushed to Frodo and then charged Shelob again. The defeated spider then fled, and she got she sneaks back into one of her little
kind of slunks back into her hole, and we don't really know what happens.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part too.
Yeah, she could have nursed her wounds.
She's still lobbing.
She might be.
She lobbing out there.
She either dried up and crusty, or she's just one eye short of a fiesta.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool. It's unresolved. We don't know. We don't know what becomes of her. Did Sam, or did she end up kind of killing herself on Sam, or was she able to nurse her wounds and come back? And I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah. So that's cool. We can speculate on that at a later time. But yeah, pretty neat. Now Sam though rushes back and is distraught, man.
Yeah, man.
He's distraught. So he's
contemplates taking his own life.
Yeah, it's something.
Looks at the end of the blade and thinks, hey. He is think about it. His
he's so far away from home. They've come so far,
right? And his one job is now gone. And then he has to stop. He has to think about it, and he's like, well, because that's when he was contemplating that. He's like, might as well end it. It's pointless. And then he goes, no, the one job was to protect Mr. Frodo so that he could fulfill his quest. And that's why the rest of us came with him to carry on that quest.
That's right.
He could not.
Yep.
If we failed him, then we didn't have to necessarily fail in the the completion of this quest.
Yep.
So, yeah.
It's crazy. So he actually ends up taking the ring.
Yeah.
I kind of want to do the whole summary here just so we can get a...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, you're fine. And then we'll go back and we'll kind of tear it apart. But yeah, he takes the ring, right?
Yep.
And is going to continue the quest.
Yep.
We'll get into that whole scene where he's deciding to leave Frodo, and that is tough. What do? Do you bury Frodo? Do you what are you supposed to do?
Right.
Leave him? Is there time? Do you honor him in burying him, or do you honor him in taking the ring and rushing off and trying to complete the mission?
Right.
If you stay with him, that hinders your chance.
Dude,
so it's tough. He's in a really tough spot. But he decided to take off, and he attempted to flee, but heard orc voices surrounding him. So that's not good.
Yeah.
Right? Because we had been looking, we were going through the tunnel, and we were looking ahead, and we saw the tower with the glowing kind of red light, I think it was.
Yep.
Indicating that this way is guarded. It's guarded by Shelob.
Yep.
And it's also guarded by some orcs.
Yep.
So not good. They're surrounding him. Sam put on the ring and felt as though the world had changed.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy to see Sam go through some of what we've seen Frodo endure, and it's new to Sam, so we get a new. It's a reminder for us as to what the ring can do and its power.
Yep, absolutely. And the crazy thing is, I think because of their proximity, right, to Mount Doom, the weight that he feels immediately.
Yes.
Man. And then how it kind of eases off, almost in a way that does the ring want to be with Sam? Does it think that it can manipulate Sam and get back to where it to the hand of its master? It's just crazy.
You're right.
Because you got to think about this whole time. It's funny how we're lulled out of thinking of the ring as a character, but then there are these moments that snap us back to, okay, no, the ring is aware. It is a character. It does have a will of its own. I mean, even the wise talk about that. So, wow.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get into that a little bit more. Now, he's actually able to understand the orcs.
Yeah.
That was interesting,
yes,
right?
It was.
So he's understanding the orcs, and he ends up following a couple of them. One's named
Shagrat.
Yeah, and
Gorbot.
Gorbag.
Yeah, Gorbag. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah, and those are the orcs that he learns that basically the way Shelob works is she just kind of lobs her stinger in there.
Yeah.
And poisons them a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or stuns them. Doesn't kill them necessarily.
She wants to eat
fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
That's right, man.
So some juicy hobbits. So he's upset because now they've taken Frodo and so they wonder whether, he's alive at all, and he there's a chance, right? So he's amazed to hear that Frodo actually is alive.
Yeah.
The orc guards, they're carrying him. They slam the door and whatnot, and so Sam still has the ring, and we'll get to the very end.
Yeah.
So, wow. All right, guys. Well, that was the.
That's it. We'll see you for Return of the King.
Oh my gosh.
No, there's so much cool stuff too. Like you said, it's not a really long chapter, but I think because we start with, we begin with that confrontation of Shelob.
Mm-hmm.
And while
it's got that energy,
yes, it's high and it's intense right off the bat. And while there's tension later on, it's more like it kind of drags on. Like he's got the ring on. He's following secretly, and he's like overhearing conversation, and it's not as I don't know, like that confrontation he has with Shelob is really hard to beat. So that's why it feels kind of longer. I think you got the punch in the face at the beginning, and then sort of this drag out to the end of book 4. And more questions. You got all these choices he makes, but more questions like, how is he going to get Frodo back? How do they get out of this mess? Can he get Frodo back? Are they going to kill him first? Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just kind of dive in here to the first couple paragraphs here, because we like looking at all the different literary devices and the way things are worded, and that's why we do what we do here. Mm-hmm. So Frodo is laying face upward on the ground, and the monster was bending over him, so intent upon her victim that she took no heed of Sam and his cries.
Yeah.
So Shelob,
she's hungry, ready to eat.
You got to pay attention to your surroundings. All right?
Rule 1.
How many eyes do you have?
As is rules for eating a hobbit.
That's right. Pay attention to your surroundings. They're never alone. They travel in packs.
Yeah.
So
again, is this also kind of we talked about before, is this an underestimation of Sam, or was it like her thinking that Gollum was going to take care of it, and now she's just like so focused on finishing the job with Frodo, getting some fresh meat, that she got tunnel vision, man. Mm-hmm. Those 8 eyes are all in one direction, and they're unwavering.
Oh yeah,
unswerving.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yes. So Sam rushes and notices the elven blade laying there.
Man,
ready for the taking.
Gosh, I love this.
Mm-hmm. And so he springs forward with a yell. He seized his master's sword in his left hand and then charged. No onslaught more force.
Come on, bring it home.
Fierce was ever seen in the savage world of beast. Wow. Where some desperate small creature armed with little teeth alone will spring upon a tower of horn and hide that stands above its fallen mate.
I mean, come on.
Wow. Come on. No onslaught more fierce was ever seen.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
I've got that just underlined and hearted and exclamation pointed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because you can imagine that. You can imagine that a little bug, or a little small animal cornered its mate, being eaten by another animal, and it knows it's going to lose, right? It knows it can't beat this big animal, but it's like, to heck with it. I'm going to die trying.
You imagine he's moving faster than he's ever moved before.
Yeah,
he's using every ounce of strength and wit and everything that he has, pouring everything into it, all that courage, all of that emotion, driving towards Shelob.
I know.
Think about how many people, Shelob has, consumed.
Like
orcs and warriors and
like big, strong men, big rangers.
Right.
Don't go up there anymore.
No.
They won't even go up there, let alone go after. Mm-hmm. And you've got this hobbit with just this fire in his eyes. Man, ready to spring upon this spider to save his master.
Yeah, I mean, he springs in there, right, inside the arch of the legs.
Yep.
A little quick up thrust, and he's able to kind of, land a jab in that cluster of eyes.
Yeah, takes one of them out. One big one.
You think Shelob
You want a sound effect for it?
Yeah. What was it? That's how the eye sounded when it
Oh,
was stabbed?
yeah, and it's just gooping everywhere.
Oh, that was a good one. I like that.
That was her kind of.
That was her. Yeah, I got you.
And he's probably like, oh, smell. The smell had to reek. Imagine poking a giant spider's eye out.
That was great. I like that.
Do you think he sniffed his blade afterwards?
I think he licked his blade afterwards.
You've been spending way too much time with me, man.
I know. You're way too much time. Oh my gosh, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
My bad. We just, there we go. Okay, so now the miserable creature, right, was right under her. Wait, now the miserable creature was right under her.
Yeah.
For the moment.
Isn't this a cool perspective? It's switching it. So it's like Shelob, how she would view Sam.
Yeah. So just out of reach of her sting and her claws, her vast belly was above him. Yeah, with the putrid light and the stench of it almost smote him down. Wow. So again, the smell, right?
Yeah.
Don't forget the sniffing.
Don't forget it.
So
would like to at this point, but
but this is where she's ready to kind of crush him, smother him.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
And he slashes with the bright elven blade across her with desperate strength. But Shelob was not as dragons are. No softer spot had she, save only her eyes.
Yeah.
So, not going to do much damage.
Can't cut into her.
Yeah. But.
Yep. Even talking about, no blade of elven or dwarven, forging, nor the hand of Baron or of Turin wielding it could do any damage.
I'm just looking at that now going, shut up.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of funny because really, like, she does it to herself. It's only because of when you're talking about what happens when she tries to squash. And again, it's hilarious that like what she intended to kill Sam ends up like mortally wounding her. Right? It totally backfires. It's like a common theme with the dark side here.
Dropping his own sword with both hands, he held the elven blade point upwards, fending off that ghastly roof. And so Shelob, with the driving force of her own cruel will, with strength greater than any warrior's hand, thrust herself upon a bitter spike. So he didn't even really mean to. I mean, this is
just kind of sticking it up.
I like to think Sam was smart enough. He knew what was happening.
I agree.
He said, "Let me set this right here. I know what you're about to do. You're trying to drop down and crush me, but
go through this point."
Yeah, he's like, "I'll use your strength against you."
That's right.
Unfortunately, it's probably not what that.
I'm gonna sting you instead of you stinging me.
Yeah, let's go. So
with a sword called Sting.
yeah. But once that happens, Shelob, she out.
Yeah.
She out.
Yeah. No such anguish had Shelob ever known or dreamed of knowing in all her long world of wickedness. So yeah, I mean, she's gone. Bent her writhing limbs beneath her and sprang backwards into a convulsive leap, and just kind of creeps back into this hole, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Do you actually think that the Elvish blade, I know it's called Sting, do you think it actually stings a little bit more?
I wonder, man.
Yeah, well, isn't there something to those blades, like the...
Oh, for sure, yeah. They're
right.
Forged in Gondolin, right?
Right.
And
so I'm thinking that
they have some sort of elven...
There's something... It's not just a regular sword.
No,
I feel like a regular sword might have broke.
I think if he would have had his blade.
Yeah.
If he hadn't picked up Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been in trouble.
It could have just...
Yeah, broken off, sure.
Broken off, and then boom, she would have just...
bent or something. Yeah, and he would have gotten it for sure.
Yeah, okay.
It's a good point. I didn't think about that. So, yeah, it was crucial that he picked up Frodo's sword. Yeah.
Right. All right, so even as Sam himself crouched looking at her, seeing his death in her eyes, a thought came to him as if some remote voice had spoken, and he fumbled in his breast with his left hand and found what he sought, cold and hard and
that's
solid.
Right. He does this first before she creeps back in.
Yeah. It gleamed to his touch in a phantom of in a phantom world of horror, the file of Galadriel.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, he has that and pulls it out and is able to kind of. This is what he uses to drive Shelob back, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, and this is cool. You want to do this? So he does this big charge that doesn't he sort of. He kind of cries out, Galadriel, he said faintly, and then he heard voices far off but clear, the crying of elves as they walked under the stars in the beloved shadows of the Shire, and the music of the elves as they came through his sleep in the hall of the fire in the house of Elrond.
And doesn't this also kind of go back to Gildor, too? I Elbereth Gathoniel?
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what he's kind of talking about?
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, that's what my mind went to when he talks about in the Shire, and they're in the borders, and they're
walking through.
Yeah, they're walking through,
beginning.
right?
Sure.
Yeah. Just crazy. But again, it talks about how his tongue was loosed and his voice cried in a language which he did not know. What is that, dude?
What's up with that?
What is that? Elbereth Gathoniel o Menel Palan Diriel La Nalan Si. I want to try that one. Dinurathos. Tiro Nin Fanulius.
That's what I'm talking about.
Fanuilos.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know my Elvish. I didn't learn my letters.
I barely know my own language. So, and with that, he staggered to his feet and was Samwise the Hobbit, Hamfast's son again.
Yeah.
Now come, you filth, he cried. Man. Wow. So he's fired up, and he's got that spirit about him, and I actually think, too, even those words, even the Elvish tongue being uttered there has its own power, right? I think that's sort of the whole point.
Yep.
So you've got the Elvish blade doing its work. You've got Galadriel's file. You've got the language that comes to him from,
man.
Who knows where.
This is the elves reaching through and aiding them in their quest. Like,
it's almost like, I wonder if it's subconscious too. It kind of, remember when he's asleep and it talks about the Hall of Fire.
Yeah.
If there isn't something that's kind of coming through that he's picked up, or they've laid a seed, or they've laid a defense mechanism.
And when he pretends to sleep with Gildor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's listening the whole time and learning and picking things up. So, man, I don't know.
That's a great thought. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
For sure, man. Absolutely.
All right. So let's see here. Yeah. Come, you filth. You've hurt my master, you brute, and you'll pay for it. Yeah. We're going on, but we'll settle this. We'll settle with you first. Come on and taste it again. Wow.
Love it, man.
He's fired up. So she fell back, beating the air with her forelegs, her sight blasted by inner lightings, her mind in agony. Then turning her maimed head away, she rolled aside and began to crawl, claw by claw, towards the opening and the dark cliff beyond.
Man.
So she's out.
She's out, man.
Shelob, but she's out. So really cool. It's just a cool little stand down for Sam, and I'm glad that he has this moment, because I'm trying to think ahead. Like, he has more moments.
Sure.
But with sword in hand and going up against foe, defending his master.
Big time.
It's awesome.
Big time.
So.
And it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm just thinking like it. And I'm also thinking ahead, like when he storms Cirith Ungol. Mm-hmm. We hear the orcs talking a little bit that there's a mighty warrior about.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was this hobbit that we found isn't the one who scared Shelob away.
Right, because they can see the what she was like some sort of blackish blood. I'm guessing innards, kind of.
Yeah, and
she crawls back.
And they were also like, she wouldn't have left him here like this either. So yeah, it's just kind of cool how that, like, even that little reputation of like they're aware of a warrior, and they assume it's some elf or man, and it's this hobbit. It's wild.
Yeah, so let me read a little bit of this too, because this is where we were talking earlier. Shelob was gone, and whether she lay long in her lair, nursing her malice and her misery, and in slow years of darkness healed herself from within, rebuilding her clustered eyes, until with hunger, like death, she spun once more her dreadful snares, in the glens of the mountains of shadow. This tale does not tell. So all of those things could happen. Maybe they did, but we're not gonna. It's just a weird way to hint that did happen.
Yeah.
But this tale doesn't
know.
tell. So he's left alone, and he runs over. He rushes over. Master, dear master. Frodo's not speaking back. Master, dear master, said Sam, and through a long silence waited and listened in vain. Can you imagine?
No.
It's awful, man. He's
and again, this is like through a silence. Again, we have this silence, time and time and time again, and this is by far the scariest silence we've had. Right? We've had silences that were thoughtful. We've had silences that were happy. We've had silences that were kind of like anticipating either things that we had to do or didn't want to do, or that were coming regardless. But this is one that it's not good, man. It's not good at all, because it's going to cause Sam to question everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And all these choices he has to make in such a short period of time with something he did not see coming. I think he honestly never. I don't think he ever planned for this.
No,
I don't think Sam ever planned for this circumstance. He was going to die first.
Yeah.
And then his master would continue on because of his sacrifice
and
for
he was
him.
Rationing foods, and he was preparing for the return journey.
It was never going to be. He was never going to have to deal with the scenario of Frodo laying unresponsive, and so it like shakes him. He doesn't know what to do.
He says, "Don't go where I can't follow."
Love that line.
Wake up, wake up. It's
3 wake ups, by the way. Just point that out there. 3 times.
He's touching his brow. He's trying to see what he can do. Now, this next bit is kind of a break here, and we talk about Galadriel's mirror a little bit and what Sam saw, which I think is really interesting, because we talked about that. And what is it that you see? Do you see the past? Do you see the present, the future?
Yeah.
And is it things that
hypothetical? Is it something
that will
could happen?
Actually be, or what are you seeing? Because he misinterprets it. I mean, what he does, it says that he sees him lying fast asleep under a great dark cliff, but so what he saw was true,
right?
But what he believes here in the moment is that he's dead.
Yeah,
and so that's
kind of ironic too, because when he saw it in the mirror, he thought he was asleep. Now he's in the moment. He thinks he's dead. And here in a couple pages, he's going to realize that he was actually asleep.
He saw more clearly through the mirror of Galadriel than he does
in the moment.
Here, in the moment. Yeah. Which is crazy, because
does that speak to the power of Galadriel?
It does, but it also...
Or the mirror itself, or...
It also is crazy, because there's that twist where she kind of says, I don't really know what you're going to say.
Yeah, right.
And I don't really know what it may mean.
How to interpret it for you. Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Oh my gosh. That's nuts.
So...
He starts to turn green a little bit too, doesn't he?
What's that?
Frodo does, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Which is not good. So what shall I do? What shall I do? That's the question, right? Did I come all this way with him for nothing? And he starts to kind of remember, I have something to do before the end. I must see it through, sir, if you understand. Some of those words are coming back to him at the beginning of the journey, things that he said he was going to do. But what can he do now? Like, is he allowed to? He's thinking back to the council. He's thinking back to Gandalf and Elrond, the other members. What should I do? Am I allowed to take up this? He doesn't want to. He literally wants to lay down here and just die with his master. And it's just not... It's kind of like... I think of the idea like the world is worth saving because we have loved ones in it, and we have loved ones who will come again in it and who will be here. And I don't know, like, there's people in it that we care about, and it's just tough because right here in the moment, he's so far away from everything that he knows and loves, and the one person that he was with has, in his mind, died.
Gone.
So why continue fighting? Why save the world? What's not worth saving now? Right? Yeah. That despair sets in.
And before that too, just that. And this is up before he has that recollection of the Mirror of Galadriel. I don't know. I loved it because I've felt this way before, not to this extent, but you know this feeling that when the anger surged over him, and he stabs at the air, smites the stones, and shouts challenges, just like this like release of anger. It's like when you go punch a punching bag, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't really do anything, but you have to get that, I don't know, that surge of emotions out.
Right.
And then it's just funny how it changed. You see his process of thinking too.
Well, yeah, right down here. So where he says, if I am to go on, then I must take your sword. By your leave, Mr. Frodo, I'll put this one, to lie by you. So his sword, right, as it lay by the old king in the barrow.
What a weird,
what a weird
time back, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he says you've got your beautiful mithril coat from old Mr. Bilbo and your star glass, Mr. Frodo. So those are things that he's kind of saying, I need your permission. I'm saying this out loud. I'm almost like I hope you'll understand. I'm sure that you will understand. And he's starting to kind of come to terms with the idea that he needs these things to continue, put himself in the best position to finish the mission. Right?
Right.
Says, do you understand, Mr. Frodo? I've got to go on. And it's because of what Frodo would want him to do.
Man, dude.
And that's hard. That's just right. That's a hard decision.
Yeah, he is in a dark.
I feel like he's here for a while. I feel like
place.
This happens pretty quickly, but I could see him, as you said, when he was stamping around, kind of with his sword, hitting rocks or swinging it through the air, just enraged. That could have taken some time.
Yeah, and I think it even says here at some point how much time had passed. It's impossible to tell.
Right.
It could have been minutes, it could have been hours. Felt like days, kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where that is.
Well, yeah, right here. So he's trying to find the strength to tear himself away.
Yeah, but for how many minutes or hours the world had gone dragging on, he could not tell.
Mm-hmm.
Still in the same place. Still, his master lay beside him dead. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so what am I to do then, he cried, and now he seemed plainly to know the answer. See it through. Another lonely journey and the worst. What, me alone, go to the crack of doom and all? He quailed still, but the resolve grew. What, me take the ring from him? The council gave it to him. So again, kind of coming to terms with all of this. And he thinks back, the answer came at once, and the council gave him companions so that the errand should not fail. And you are the last of all the of the company. The errand must not fail. Mm-hmm. He's the last.
Yeah, in his
Jiminy.
world.
Imagine how the story would go. What you like? Imagine at this point too, as a new someone who's reading through this, right? So I honestly can't really remember. Like Two Towers is the most foggy to me, and so this bit here, I don't remember exactly what I was feeling. I was probably rushing through reading. Like, what?
And had you seen the movie already, or no?
No.
Okay.
I had not.
Okay.
No. And I was a very poor reader at the time. I was reading these in the back of church.
I mean, they were hard. They're hard read,
Yeah. But I was getting those accelerated reader points.
Absolutely, baby. Racking them up. One book. Done for the year.
Seriously.
But the part before he has that clarity, that line back there, man. He looked on the bright point of the sword. He thought of the places behind where there was a black brink and an empty fall into nothingness. There was no escape that way. That was to do nothing, not even to grieve. That was not what he had set out to do. I took that.
I didn't catch that. Well, I actually been waiting for you to stop me when that point came up, and so.
But that I might be taking that the wrong way. But the way I see that, because it says right before that too, it would not be worthwhile to leave his master for that. Talking about getting revenge on Gollum, it would not bring him back. Nothing would. They had better both be dead together, and that too would be a lonely journey. He looked on the bright point of the sword. He thought of the places behind where there was a black brink and an empty fall into nothingness.
Dude, you're absolutely 100% right.
I mean, he's thinking about it, right? He's like, do I just fall on the sword right here, right now?
That train of thought, that's continuous. I mean, that is, yeah.
And it's fleeting. It's only for a moment. And then he thinks about, no. And dude, I have that circled, see it through.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be my Lord of the Rings tattoo.
See it through. Wow.
Like I'm trying to think about where the most fitting place would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, can't you apply? Like I think that about like at times where we've been kind of overwhelmed, or we're like, holy cow, like, gee, man, we're on 3 hours every week, like, and it's just see it through.
Yeah.
You don't have to know how you're going to get there. You don't even have to always try to be at your best, but that might not always actually be your best. Just see it through.
Yeah, I mean, I can.
At least there's still life there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Just keep
going,
dude. You're right.
Keep swimming.
It's interesting that comes right after you, as you said, the idea of taking to end it, to delay with this, just to stop.
Yeah.
But there's always
it's
a chance.
almost like a Romeo Juliet thing too, dude. Because imagine if he would have killed himself. Well, I guess I don't know. Frodo would have been found probably, but if Frodo could have come to somehow,
right, he could have,
and Sam was dead beside him.
God, that would have been.
Can you imagine?
That would have been awful. That would have been an awful moment.
Yeah.
Never thought about that.
Yeah, but orcs probably would have found him before. I don't know. It's just crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Ooh. And also, dude. Okay, so you did it perfectly because you were reading back and forth his thoughts. You know, I wish I wasn't the last. I wish Gandalf. I'm sure to go, but you haven't put yourself forward. You've been, well, I must take my own mind. Let me see now. It's like this conversation he's having with himself. Take it, don't take it. Well, I shouldn't be able to, but I can. It reminds me of Gollum.
Yeah,
it's like the bright side of the Gollum Smeagol thing, where we heard him, you know, talk from one perspective and then to the other and back and forth. And you've got Sam. It's not exactly the same thing. And I guess really any conversation in your own mind is kind of like this, but he's going back and forth between, do I kill myself? Do I see it through? Do I take the ring? No, it's not my job. Well, but you know, I'm the last of that company that was, so I have to take it. And, you know what I mean? It's like this interesting, it's patterned in the same way that Gollum and Smeagol had those conversations with himself. But it's just really cool because we've talked about that before. Like Frodo is the ring bearer, and you've got Sam on the one side as the good companion, and Gollum on the other, and it's like the angel and demon, like on a like who's going to win out, who's going to have influence and protect or steal.
Sure. Yeah, I like that. I like that comparison a lot, actually. Okay, so another thing that I think is interesting in his development of thought here is the idea that Frodo and Bilbo didn't put themselves forward. They were thrust into this,
kind of like chosen almost.
Yeah. And so it's sort of like, as he says here, but you haven't put yourself forward. You've been put forward. And as for not being the right person or the proper person, why, Mr. Frodo wasn't, as you might say, nor Mr. Bilbo. They didn't choose themselves.
I didn't catch that.
Isn't that cool? So that's just, he's starting to think, you know what? Hold on a second. This is where I'm at. What did they do when the ring came to them and it was their time to take it up?
Decision or destiny?
This is the choices.
Right?
Yeah. The choices of
choices. Yes, it is.
It's tough, but he's thinking back through this, and it's just very interesting to see one of our heroes go back and forth and be in a dark place where he wants to end it, but then
I know
has to go on.
And then I love how he says to talking about making up his mind. He's like, but I'll be sure to go wrong. That'd be Sam Gamgee all over the place. And I wrote in the margin that's like something Sarah would say. Sarah says that kind of stuff all the time, even though it's not true. And I think about who else has said that. Aragorn has said that. Gandalf has said that. And even later on, I think he talks about, you old fool, you took too long to decide. You wasted time. It's too late, I think, when the orcs are starting to come.
Yeah.
And again, Gandalf, Aragorn, like he's in good company. Those people, I think, because they're so selfless and because they serve others, they always think that they've misused the time or they've failed. And it's always like, because they feel that burden so heavily, right? I think those three characters might be more similar than any other characters in this story is those three and their relationship to Frodo. Man, it's just crazy, dude. Like, how did he did such a good job of weaving all these different elements and balancing them so well.
I know. It's fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so he's deciding. He's coming to his decision and just deciding what we need to do here, right? He hears, I think he's kind of, this one gets a little escalated because of hearing the orcs, right? He heard a crack on the stone, a murmur of the water far off the mortal vale. And so he's starting to realize the cries of orcs as they came, there it is, out of the tunnel. Mm-hmm. The deafening roaring in his ears, the crash of the feet, and the clanging of the armor. So there's that, right? So he cowered, trying to creep away into some cranny, and to hide, he listened. Yeah. What do you do? And his master's out there. He doesn't have time to kind of pull Frodo away and save him. And think about that. If you really did think he was dead, I think about this with my loved ones. It's important that you have the body, or that you don't want to see someone's body mutilated or desecrated in some way, whatever it may be. Yeah. So he's trying to figure out what to do. Yeah. Like, I will come back after I complete the mission, and I will, honor you in this way and that way. So that's all weighing on him, and he's got to move out of here quickly.
And he talks about that being his one wish of the he almost kind of requests that of the Lady Galadriel. Like, if he could ask her of one thing, it would be that somehow, some way, his body, like he is protected, and he can return there to take care of him. Right.
Yeah. Right. Man. So let's get
dark
into
stuff, dude.
Yeah. Let's get into the conversation here with these orcs, because this is interesting. Well, actually, hold on a second here. Here we go. So he's listening, right? And he heard them both. Let's see. When does he put on the ring? I thought it was right here. Perhaps the ring gave understanding of tongues, or simply understanding, especially of the servants. Oh, right before that. So he shrank against the cliff, and they kind of, let's see, but they marched up like a phantom company, gray, distorted figures in the midst, only dreams of fear, with pale flames in their hands. And they passed by him. He cowered, trying to creep away into some cranny and to hide. Let's see. Both parties were now hurrying and shouting. He heard them both clearly, and he understood what they said. Perhaps the ring gave understanding of tongues, or simply understanding, especially of the servants of Sauron, its maker, so that he gave heed. I think I missed it, but he puts the ring on at some point. So we know that he does that to kind of hide. So this is where he's able to hear the orcs. And so you have Gorbag, right? I'm guessing I'm saying that right. Gorbag. I love their names. Yeah. What are you doing up here? Can I do an orc?
That sounds pretty good to me.
What are you doing up there? Right, something like that.
Keep going, bro. I'll be.
You know me. I'll turn it into a southern accent.
Gorbag. I'll be Shagrat.
Had enough of the war already?
Orders, you lubber. And what are you doing, Shagrat? Tired of lurking up here? Thinking of coming down to fight?
Orders to you. I'm in command of this pass. So speak civil. What's your report?
Nothing.
Aye.
I don't know what that is. Let's see.
I love it, dude. There's an Ola in here, but I'm guessing it's Hola.
I'm guessing it's
hello.
There you go.
I have no idea.
That's probably what Tolkien was intending.
No idea what that means.
Dude, I also thought it was interesting, too, how Sam describes putting the ring on, and he did not feel invisible at all. But horribly and uniquely visible. And he knew that somewhere an eye was searching for him.
Good gravy.
Isn't that crazy? So just like that, so you'd think you would put it on and feel safe. You actually put it on and feel more paranoid.
Yeah, and he felt more vulnerable and exposed.
Yeah. And I wonder if that might be, you think that's proximity to, like, that they're in, because he's practically in Mordor?
Yep. Probably.
Okay.
Probably in the fact that
what's going on.
It's one thing for, I think, the ring to be out there and know that it's around and it's just a way. It's another thing for the master to know that it still survives and is seeking it.
Sure.
And being
more thought kind of bent on it in a way.
Yeah. So I feel like that makes that connection is what makes it kind of seem different than when Bilbo wore it or when Frodo wore it.
Yeah.
Even the beginnings of Frodo wearing it. So
I also love like his description of just the way it looked when he entered that world. We got a little bit of that, I think, on Weathertop, but it's been a long time since we've had kind of a description of what the world looks like when you put the ring on. And it's from Sam's perspective and not Frodo's or like the Tolkien's as an author, which is cool.
Yeah. Okay, so
That was fun doing those orc voices.
yeah, they come back in a little bit. How many are there? He thought 30 or 40 from the tower at least. A lot more than that from down below, I guess. And how many can I kill before they get me? So that's a good thought. At least he's ready to go. Still get that fire burning.
Yeah,
he's fierce. So they'll see the flame of the sword as soon as I draw it, and they'll get me sooner or later. So how Samwise fell in the high pass, and let's see. I wonder if any songs will ever be mentioned. Will ever mention it. How Samwise fell in the high pass and made a wall of bodies around his master.
I love that.
It's just cool that he's thinking about those things.
It is.
To kind of pump himself up.
Yeah.
They'll sing a song, and they'll write a tale.
Be a legend someday.
Here's what
no,
I'll
of
do.
course not, because the ring is going to be found, and there'll be no more songs.
Yeah.
He is kind of like, dude. He is kind of like Smeagol Gollum in that way.
Back and forth.
Like an extreme like what would you even call it? Like high hopes and then super realistic. Like no, we're done for.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
It's like balancing himself out there.
It's the choices.
Yeah,
he's really got to decide. He's considering what Elrond would think, Galadriel, all these great different people, and it's crazy. At one point, Gandalf kind of talks about that each of us have to decide, what to do with this time.
Yep.
He's presented with this situation and this time.
Yep.
What's he going to do? Now, it's neat that he kind of says, I can't be their ring bearer, not without Mr. Frodo. And there's something in him telling him that he still needs to that Frodo's something is keeping him there and wanting to kind of protect his master, even though he believes he's dead. And he's just about to decide, I think, to get Frodo to kind of move him or whatever. And that's sort of when the orcs finally kind of bust out there and they come out onto the path, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there they were again, a good way ahead still, a cluster of figures around something lying on the ground. A few seemed to be darting this way and that, bent like dogs on a trail. He tried to make a spurt. Come on, Sammy said. You'll be too late again. He loosened the sword in his sheath. In a minute he would draw it, and then there was a wild clamor, hooting and laughing as if something lifted from the ground. Oh, boy. That's just... Were they lifting up Frodo?
I think so. Not Mr. Frodo.
No, I was about
master.
He was about to charge him.
Man, I know.
He was.
But in the end,
yeah, right.
Probably good he didn't.
Yeah. So they're worried about getting out of there quick because Shelob doesn't want to. This is a good meal for her.
Absolutely.
And
they don't necessarily know.
And they don't know what all went down here, as you said before.
Yep.
The legend of this, phantom. Sam's seeing phantoms. They're seeing phantoms too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So after they'd taken his body, they were off, and he drew the sword, a flicker of blue in his wavering hand, but they did not see it. Even as he came panting up, the last of them vanished into the black hole. Does it mean they didn't see it because he's still wearing the ring, or did he take the ring off? Am I missing something?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Like the sword, right? He drew the sword, a flicker of blue. His wavering hand, but they did not see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know. Or were they just like so, like focused on getting Frodo back to the tower? Yeah. That maybe just in all the commotion they didn't notice it. I don't know. That's a great question, dude.
I just can't. That's my fault, guys. I can't remember when he took the ring off or when that takes place. So, anyways, but yeah, because at one point too they talk about the blade and it being the type of glow and it being, this might have been last chapter actually, but just the edges of it glowing,
yes,
and stuff as they get further away and things. So it's kind of cool just to see what a good indicator that Sting.
Well, and can you see so if he does have the ring on, can you see the sword? Would it just be floating in the
That's
the
what
sky?
I'm saying. I think anything. I think it's concealed by the ring as well.
That's what I thought too.
I would imagine
because it's not like your clothes are visible,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I feel like it gives you that whole protection.
Yeah.
All right, so for a moment he stood gasping, clutching his breast. Then he drew his sleeve across his face, wiping away the grime and the sweat and the tears. "Curse the filth," he said, and he sprang after them into the darkness. So he is still going to. He wants his, whether he's dead or not. He doesn't want them to have Frodo's body.
Yeah.
Okay, because he could have just taken off. He could have said, "Oh, there's my distraction. They've got him. Now I can go on with the quest." What is it that keeps him?
Yeah.
You know, fastened to his master.
It's that loyalty.
Yeah.
It's that loyalty. And like you said, not wanting to see his, because that was his one wish, that he could come back and find Frodo. And, you know, if he could complete the quest, then respectfully put him to rest.
Mm-hmm.
But he's seeing this, and it's so immediate after it happened that he's like, I just got to go. I got to go try and get him back. It's like he's forgotten he even has to continue the quest. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
Since those orcs come, it's like, yep, nope, got to go protect my master.
Right. So now this is a neat little bit where the orcs kind of go through the tunnels and they've made their own, right?
Yes, right.
In spite of Shelob?
Yep. And remember we talked about it before last chapter, how it said that some of the orcs would try to tunnel underneath her tunnels to get through the mountains and get around her. You know, but that she would intercept those tunnels and then use those tunnels as well. Mm-hmm. And so now we get to see, and we end up going back to that one that was blocked by the stone.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we realized that was like an orc, like kind of false door that kept Shelob out, but you could climb up and go through the hole and get by.
Right.
But they didn't know that at the time.
Yep. So dark in there, and actually, if you think about where Gollum took off to, he might have known that.
Yeah, he might have.
So, all right, but yeah, so our orcs kind of have they're debating the two captains, Shagrat and Gorbag, are kind of going back and forth, deciding basically what rumors have been heard and what could be going on. Don't they at one point mention the little showdown that took place between the the Witch King? Do they talk about that? Yeah. You remember that? I know that happened, but I don't know if they did or not. The Nazgul,
they talk about how they're like his favorites, right? They're Sauron's favorites. The Nazgul are, and
here we go.
Yeah, the sign from Minas Morgul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Nazgul down below are, by your account,
because one of them isn't Gorbag. Gorbag's been down in Minas Morgul, and Shagrat is he's based in Cirith Ungol, right? So they
at the tower.
Yeah, they kind of are stationed in different places. Is this where he talks about wanting to slip away and make their own little pack, or is that later?
That's coming up.
Is that later?
That's coming up though.
Because the whole point of this dialogue is to show
like old times. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so in the same way that like the Fellowship was bound by this. We're never going to leave each other. We have to die first. The sides of darkness are all out for themselves. Like we saw it way back with the Rohirrim, right? With the different orc packs and how none of them trusted each other, and you know the Uruk-hai were more loyal to Saruman than they were to Sauron, and they're just all divided. They were also divisive in like little sects within a larger group that, you know, you take one piece out and they're all going to fall because there's no loyalty to each other. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that is something that you're right. That is exactly what these guys end up kind of talking about, is they don't really know what's being searched for or why.
Yeah.
But if they find it, I mean, what could they do with it?
Dude, did it almost kind of like humanize the orcs for you too?
Yes, it did. It definitely did.
Crap, what did he say? There's one point where it talks about those Nazgul.
They call them the top ones too sometimes.
Yeah. Sorry, I know I'm getting way out of order here.
Don't worry.
But they talk about Lugburs wanting what they have. So Minas Morgul, not Minas Morgul. Barad-dûr is Lugburs, wanting this elvish thing, weapon or whatever. Talking about the Nazgul giving the creeps. And they skin the body off you as soon as you look at them, and leave you all cold in the dark on the other side. But he likes them; they're his favorite nowadays. So it's no use grumbling. I tell you, it's no game serving down in the city. You should try being up here with Shelob for company. So they're both talking about like the areas they are. They're like disgruntled soldiers. Yep. They're not happy with where they are. They don't trust who they're working for. And yeah, that's where they talk about it. What do you say? If we get a chance, you and me will slip off and set up somewhere on our own with a few trusty lads, somewhere where there's good loot, nice and handy, and no big bosses. Like they're a bunch of pirates.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, said Shagrat, like old times. Yes, said Gorbag. But don't count on it. I'm not easy in my mind. As I say, the big bosses, eh? Yeah. Crazy, man.
It is. And they're kind of talking about what each of the Nazgul are searching for something. They just don't. They're in the dark.
Yeah.
And it's still even kind of secret among the enemy.
Yeah, right. And this is where he says, talks about even the biggest bosses can make mistakes. Something nearly slipped, you say. I say something has slipped, and we've got to look out. Always the poor Uruks to put slips right, and small thanks. So it almost kind of makes you feel bad for him in a way. Like, but don't forget, the enemies don't love us any more than they love him. And if they get topsides on him, we're done too. But see here, when were you ordered out? So just kind of like this idea that they're screwed either way.
Conversation.
Yeah,
they're just kind of back and forth talking about their patrols, messages that are sent out. They go on to talk about, as you said, how the Nazgul make them feel uneasy. Spies feared on the stairs. Double vigilance. Patrol to head of stairs. I came at once. Bad business, said Gorbag. See here, our silent watchers were uneasy more than 2 days ago, that I know. But my patrol wasn't ordered out for another day, nor any message sent to lugwards either, owing to the great signal going up and the high Nazgul going off to the war and all of that. So
which they witnessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the eye was busy elsewhere, I suppose. So they even kind of know about the eye and how it's being occupied and manipulated,
and
by the events of
at Minas Tirith and the Battle of Pelennor. And so like it's also kind of a way that we're getting a glimpse of what's to come. And also Sam's got to be wondering like what's going out, like, what's happening out there? What battle is this? Like, are any of my friends still there? Man, it's nuts, dude.
Yeah. And this is where they even Gollum kind of comes back up and they talk about the sneak.
Her sneak,
right?
Yeah.
Who kind of worships her, and seeing him kind of moving around. So that's
like a spider himself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's interesting. So they're supposed to be on high alert. They kind of jaw back and forth a little bit, but nothing gets by Shelob when she's on the hunt. So you can see almost why I forget which one is which on the tower there up by Shelob, but would let their guard down because they have Shelob there. Almost also the same way that Sauron says Shelob's there.
Don't worry about that.
I'm not too worried about that because we'll be okay.
It's my cat.
My cat's
guarding the back door.
Yeah.
Right.
No one's going to. What idiot would.
You're right.
2 hobbits from the Shire.
That's right. It says nothing gets by Shelob when she's on the hunt. Nothing, say you. Didn't you use your eyes back there? I tell you, I'm not easy in my mind. Whatever came up the stairs did get by.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about the little fellow, got him, but, there was more than one. This is one, and it's so funny because they're talking about how it has to be some kind of large warrior, maybe even an elven warrior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sam gets a kick out of that, like thinking that, or knowing that they think that he's some big elvish warrior.
Yeah.
An elf, most likely with an elf sword anyway, and an axe as well, maybe. A large warrior on the loose. Sam smiled grimly at this description of himself. Like, it's what Sam's always wanted. He's always loved the elves.
See him kind of smirking?
Yeah, just like, yeah, boy, I've made it.
You better watch out.
I've made it.
You better watch out.
I'm an elf warrior now. Samwise the elven.
Oh, man. Okay, so let's see. They kind of go back and forth. Still talking. It's cool that he's kind of eavesdropping here on them. Gorbag says, "It's my guess you won't find much in that little fellow. He may have had nothing to do with the real mischief." So they're talking about Frodo and what to do when Frodo comes awake.
Yeah.
And that is what catches Sam's attention, right? how stupid. He's like, we'll see. Come on now, we've talked enough. Let's go and have a look at the prisoner. And that's the bit that. Let me see here. They let's see. Shagrat says, "I have my orders, and it's more than my belly is worth or yours to break them. Any trespassers found by the guard is to be held at the tower. Prisoner is to be stripped. Full description of every article, garment, weapon, letter, ring, ring
at the end there.
Uh-huh.
Like not first.
Yep.
Ring is just a little
just in there
next to the trinket, so don't worry about it. Don't
worry about
try
it.
stealing any rings. Get them to Lugbers.
Yep. And the prisoners be kept safe and intact under pain of death for every member of the guard. So pretty strict sort of things. If you catch these trespassers, so does that? I almost wonder, does Sauron or do they know? Do they suspect that the enemy might travel this far in with something of value, or is it a spy? Because I mean, that's what they really think at first. Is this is just a spy?
Is that just like like a blanket order for anyone caught trespassing? This is what happens. This procedure of what happens. I love how Gorbag is like stripped. What, teeth, nails, hair, and all? No, none of that. He's for Lugbers, I tell you. He's wanted safe and whole.
Yeah,
you'll find that difficult. Laughed Gorbag. Man.
Yeah, I find that difficult. Why? Because they're always looking for good meats or what, you know?
Yeah, he says nothing but carry on now. What they'll do at Barad-dûr, can't even guess. He might as well. He's as good as dead, is what he's saying. As good as dead. He wish he would have been.
Yeah, yep. So here we go. Sam reeled, clutching at the stone. You fool! He isn't dead, and your heart knew it. Don't trust your head, Samwise. It's not the best part of you. The trouble with you is that you never really had any hope. Now what is to be done? So for the moment, nothing, but to prop himself up against an unmoving stone and listen. Listen to the vile orc's voices.
Isn't that like a saying, head over heart? That's an expression, right? And it's so funny how he's flipping it on its head here. Heart over head. You know, like he knew it. His strong suit isn't his head; it's his heart.
And that's what kept him. That was that.
What kept him there.
Kept him attached, right? So, all right. Gorbag kind of says that. Let's see. Let's go back here a little bit.
New swear word for us: garn.
Garn. Yes. So they're talking about Shelob again, right? She's got more than one prisoner. Is that right? When she's hunting, she just gives them a dab in the neck.
Yes.
And they go limp.
Talking about that old Ufthak.
Yeah.
The orc that they found, and
we lost him for days, and we found him in the corner hanging up.
Paralyzed. She must have forgotten about him, but they didn't let him go.
Yeah.
Dude, like, they are all out for just themselves. Like, that's the other thing, too, is I love when you get these glimpses of, I don't know, because in like overwhelming numbers, they seem impossible to beat, but you break them down to their individuals, and they're a bunch of cowards. Just a bunch of cowards.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, but
and it's almost comical, isn't it? Like, it's almost comical.
Yeah.
Like they're ridiculous.
It's crazy how much they have to kind of protect someone who is not of their own kind. Yeah. And they wouldn't stick their neck out for one of their own kind that they find in Shelob's lair. It's just messed up.
Right.
But they do, because they're worried about, their own skin.
Yeah, sure.
So that's that. So, all right, the voices begin to move away. Sam heard the sound of feet receding. He was recovering from his shock, and now a wild fury was on him. I got it all wrong, he cried. I knew I would. So, he's now even more just enraged. And really, may I be forgiven? Now I've got to get back to him. Somehow. So he draws his sword again. And let's see. So this is where he basically has to kind of
tries to keep up, and he can't at this point, right?
Tries to keep up. Yeah, they kind of get ahead of him, don't they? And he's going to have to. The good thing is that he knows that they want to keep Frodo safe and whole and preserved. So if he thinks about that, he can kind of use the ring, sneak, plan this out. Not just he's going to boldly just rush in there though. This is Sam, right?
Right.
So, because the news that his master still alive had roused him to a last effort beyond thought of weariness. He could not see anything ahead, for this new pass twisted and turned constantly, but he thought he was catching the two orcs. Their voices were growing nearer. Now they seemed quite close. Last little bit of conversation we have here between these guys, right?
Yeah.
They're talking about what they're going to put them up at the top chamber.
Yep.
And
Shagrat calls him precious, which I think is an interesting little play on the word there.
Good catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's precious. I don't trust any of my lads, none of yours.
Nor you either.
So
no one trusts anybody.
No.
On the forces of evil.
He'll be safe up there. Well, perfect. Gosh. Will he? Said Sam. You're forgetting the great big elvish warrior that's loose. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Man. Oh, and I love this big oar here. I love this dude. And with that, he raced around the last corner, only to find that by some trick of the tunnel or of the hearing which the ring gave him, he had misjudged the distance. So which one is it? Is it the tunnel or is it the hearing of the ring?
It's the hearing of the ring.
Yeah.
I think so, don't you?
Yeah.
Now that I didn't actually...
I don't know. Like,
because I've always wondered what the ring's power, like other powers are. What powers it can give to you.
So, but it misguides him there. Like, he thinks he's closer than he is.
But he wanted to hear what they were saying.
True, right?
Yeah.
But so he ends up kind of rushing to see if he can catch up, and they pass inside the gate, right? Shut the door, and he's clang. The gate was shut. Sam hurled himself against the bolted, frozen, or brazen plates and fell senselessly to the ground.
He actually yells.
Yeah.
He's brandishing his sting, but he's drowned out.
His little voice drowned out in the tumult. Yeah.
Great doors are slammed.
No one heeded him.
Yeah, the gate was shut. Sam hurled himself against the bolted brazen plates and fell senselessly to the ground. Frodo was alive, but taken by the enemy.
Frodo lives. At least for now.
What do you do, Sam?
Man, I don't know. I know he kept saying he was making the wrong choice over and over again. And here again, we know full context what's going on. But
yeah,
he made the right choices, man.
That's a chapter.
He made all the right choices.
He did. Yeah. That is actually a chapter, though, as you go through.
You could read that again 20 times.
Yes. And as you go through the reread, it's that what you get from that is the emotions that he's feeling. You can make connections with it, but it's like once you already know that Frodo lives, then you're sort of looking for other things. And so the neat parts in that were Shelob and what's going to happen with her, the idea that they would want to go on a side quest, the Nazgul, what they're searching for, getting sort of that information behind enemy lines.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. It is like being back in with Merry and Pippin with the Uruk-hai a little bit. You know what I mean? In a sense.
Yeah.
Just think of the stories they will tell each other too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
About being taken by the Uruk-hai. Oh yeah. I heard them talking too. Sam would say, and talk about how stupid they were.
Right.
Man, so we're done with the Two Towers.
Is that it?
We've gone through the Fellowship of the Ring. We have now completely. Give me a handshake, brother.
Yep.
That is amazing. We've now completed the Two Towers.
It's crazy.
Books 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Crazy.
And parts 1 and 2. Completed. And we're into our third act. And it's crazy because, oh man, I don't know what it was, but
we need the third act.
The second half of that book really took it out of me.
I know.
And first book, I don't know. No
problem.
No problem at all. But this middle part has been tough. And hey, I'm also sitting here thinking the battle hasn't even really started yet. We got a lot of battle left,
which is great.
It is great, and I'm excited because it was really cool how we had people join us over this past book. We had Bobby Ray, we had my mom, we had Kurt.
Yeah,
and I'm excited because we're going to kick off Return of the King, Minas Tirith chapter with Mike Charles himself.
Wow!
So that'll be a cool way to
awesome.
Punt off, Return of the King. And then we are hoping to have more of that.
Yeah.
In that final book, people joining us and reading along with us and being right here in the living room. So
so if we've talked to you,
whatever.
Make sure you reach out to us. And schedule's kind of all over the place as we finish up the school year, but we're gonna have something pretty steady for the summer. So be doing a lot of work on the old studio.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. I'm glad that we have that under our belt, and it was nice to get through. It was nice to go back and be exposed to that. But boy, it takes a lot out of you. It does, emotionally, and I'm just we have our hobbits in the right position, so they're ready to go. Wow, I thought that was full. I literally, and notice I didn't move at all.
My dream. Nah,
Sorry, a bottle of water just spilled all over the table.
It's going to happen.
Equipment is sizzling.
It's going to happen eventually,
So,
you know?
But anyways, I don't know. Yeah, so looking forward to Return so much. And as I said, we have our characters in the right position, and they're much closer, so now we can go back and we can figure out what happened to everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's
excited to figure out what is going on.
That's right, man. And the ring is safe for now, so that's also kind of some little peace of mind there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the Bywater post here.
Yeah.
We have something here from Mitch Pope. Yeah, so let's go back and forth. I'll read the first paragraph. We'll kind of tag team it. Is it okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Hi, guys and girls. Loving the podcast. I was a late starter, but am very pleased to have finally caught up. My dad read The Hobbit to my sisters and me when we were young. It was a family tradition that we read chapters aloud in the car on the way to family camping trips during our school holidays. Wow. I was thrilled when when year 5 teacher told me there were books that followed on from The Hobbit called The Lord of the Rings. I remember being angry that Bilbo wasn't the main focus. It was 1998. I was 10 years old and thought, who's this Frodo character? Since this time, Lord of the Rings has been an annual reread.
That's awesome. This reread has been the most enjoyable of all, and I have loved sharing it with you all. We've discussed what the ring means or represents in our own lives. To me, in this reread, the ring has really represented negativity and how being negative or pessimistic consumes people and affects everyone around them. My 3-year-old daughter, Emily, was diagnosed with level 2 autism at 18 months. Her regression at 14 months was absolutely heartbreaking. In the same month, my 15-year-old border collie died, and I lost a promotion at work. Man, wow. Geez. The combination really hit me hard, and already having some problems with PTSD. I'm a police officer. Well, the next 12 months were very hard on our family, but Emily progressed wonderfully in therapy, and I really tried to focus on the many positives in our lives. That's beautiful, my friend. I feel Frodo is the most human or relatable character now. The ring is destroyed, but you still bear the scars of the journey. Success is not achieved by the actions alone, but by the support of others. I'm going to read that line again. Success is not achieved by his actions alone, but by the support of others. The fellowship physically breaks through the parties separating, but not in any other sense. Jeez, man.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot, and that to focus on the positive versus the negative. That's tough to do with those situations surrounding you. So,
absolutely.
One of the more recent positives that I have to mention has been the joy of this book club has brought me. Isn't it great to share your passion with others? Thank you for reigniting my love of the readings as Lane and Sarah. Thank you for your incredible creation. Now, a couple of things have stood out to me in this reread, that I never really noticed before.
Firstly, the importance of Pippin in the early chapters of the Fellowship. The fact that Pippin speaks up and asks the elves, what about the Black Riders? Frodo and Sam know too much to mention the riders to the elves, as they are trying to be as secretive as possible. Pippin's ignorance, if I can put it like that, sways the elves to shelter the hobbits. If not for Pippin, the wraiths may have taken the hobbits on the road almost instantly after their story began. Great point.
Wow.
Great point.
That ignorance can,
Absolutely.
That's cool. There's often talk throughout the book and your podcast of this other power at work. The power evil is a constant reminder and an obvious threat in almost every chapter. I think that's why Tom Bombadil's character is so important. We have good and evil characters, but we need Tom in the book as he is the only character who personifies that power or other forces at work.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I've mentioned on the Facebook group my theory that the Mirror of Galadriel may contain a Palantir. Yes, and I love that. I love that. I just don't understand why else Frodo couldn't touch the water, and the comment about knowing he could reveal himself. There is also a comment in the first chapter of Return of the King that directly relates to this, but I'll wait until the right time to discuss. I love it, man.
Coming up soon.
Love it, man.
Yeah. The chapter reveals a very important face about the rings, or fact about the rings, and the way they can be used. This made me think, if Gandalf used his ring to intimidate the race before Weathertop, they drew away from me, for they felt the coming of my anger.
That's right, because they see him in the distance. That's right.
Yeah.
And the lightning. And also the way Gandalf talks about the One Ring after he reveals himself as Gandalf the White to the 3 hunters in Fangorn. It's like he's considering whether or not it's worth chasing after Frodo and using the ring himself. Now that he is Saruman as he should have been, he immediately considers something that undid Saruman. The temptation of the ring strengthens due to his increased power.
Yeah. Sorry for the long email.
Don't apologize.
Don't do that. I hope I haven't.
I was hoping you'd write more.
Dribbled on too much.
I need more.
Yeah. Thanks again for your hard work and dedication. Please, if ever
Land Down Under.
Land Down Under.
He's an Australian. Our friend Mitch is Australian.
Pope. Wow.
Yep.
That's awesome. That is so cool. So I love this. We're still catching up on Bywater posts. So we got a nice little Merry Christmas there too. So.
Mitch is our upper who was in Hobbiton right after Charlotte was born, and he was the one who had that moving toast. He's there. I mean, man, like, you know what? Jeez,
I know.
What a thoughtful human being.
Yep. And
that is a trait shared amongst all of our uppers. I mean, I'm not that thoughtful. I'm not. He's in a place that he's probably wanted to go and visit his whole life. He may have been before, I don't know. But regardless, you could go 5 times and it would still be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the selflessness to sit there and go, hey, you know what? Wow. Lady Charlotte was just born.
Yeah.
Let's raise our glasses and toast her. Like, what an amazing... I'm not kidding, Mitch. I will tell her someday, and several times, and even before she can understand. I've already told her, actually. I've told her. There you go. Spoiler alert. But as she's able to understand it, I will continue to tell her that there was a day, shortly after she was born that,
a toast was raised.
Yeah. A brother across the world that I've never met before, that we have never met but are friends with.
Yeah.
Raised his glass to honor her, and man, I just tell you what, I don't know. You're through your actions and through your words, man, you are one heck of a human being.
Yeah.
And we're honored to have you as part of our community. And
love the positivity.
Yes. And your daughter and your family are lucky to have you. And just continue with that positivity, brother. Know you will. And you're a strength to all of us. So we appreciate you. And wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Beautiful. All right. Time for some strawberries with crime. It's all about choices, man. I don't even know what that accent was. What have been some of the most infuriating decisions you've had to make lately?
Really?
Yeah, I'm stuck on that image of him like swinging the sword at the rocks and
Right.
just going ape crap. So what decisions have you been so agonized over that you just scream and yell and throw your sword up at the sky and smite the rocks and talk to yourself?
I mean, here recently.
Was it coming down here tonight?
Close. No. No, it was just the other day, because I'm done with the pop, and I've been doing, water and milk. So like skim milk, 1%
Sounds
milk.
so fun, doesn't it?
I let the 1% milk go because I drink 1% because it's like, man, I can't get anybody in my family to drink skim milk. So it's like, at least they're willing to do 1%.
Yeah, a little compromise.
Yeah, we'll compromise. And that's fine. So I was sitting there, and it's baby steps, and Lane and I talked about how we want to do that, and I'm proud of myself. I'm like really ready to go.
2 weeks strong.
Yeah, and so I was making. Here's the big decision: was basically, do I fry that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or do I just eat it regular? You ever had a fried peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
No, but I want one now.
Dude, I will make you one right after this.
Me?
Dude, this is the most delicious thing ever with a glass of milk. It is unbelievable.
I don't have any peanut butter on that.
And there's a special way you have to make it too. Like,
Why, so that it doesn't leak out or something?
No, it's hard. You can't just like put it in your. There's a way you got to build it on the skillet. You got to build it on the skillet. I'm telling you.
Sounds so good.
Get the crunchy peanut butter too. It's tough. It's tough.
What kind of jelly? Grape?
I go grape.
Yeah, you got to go grape.
I go grape. I mean, I would do. Have you ever had a cherry jelly? Cherry jelly?
I can't say as I have. Strawberry. Love strawberry jelly.
Yeah, I know. Cherry's kind of rare, but it's out there.
Jelly.
Cherry jelly.
Check that out.
Yeah, it's rare, but it's
Dude, you
a
could
thing.
mix jellies.
Yeah, you could.
Peanut butter, grape,
Mixed
and
berry.
cherry.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, all right.
Yeah. So,
okay. Well, that's a little bit too much for me. So why did you go nuts? Oh, it was just deciding fry it or not.
I walked around for a while. Dad's like, "You all right?" I'm like, I don't know whether to fry this or
what did you end up doing?
I fried it. Obviously, because I didn't want to, because you got to put some butter on it and stuff.
So you fell on your sword.
It's
fell on your sword.
It's not as a healthy choice. And actually, peanut butter jelly is not that. I mean, I was just I wanted a solid,
got
snack.
some protein in there with the peanut butter.
I was coming home, I was closing my little eating window after school. I'd get my workout in. I was like, PB&J.
Nothing wrong with that, bro.
And then I was looking and I was like, man, that'd be nice fried.
You could have had a burger, and that would have been worse. You know what I mean?
Grilled.
Like
I keep saying fried. Why do I keep saying fried?
I don't know, because I'm thinking like deep fried.
Dude, I'm sorry.
That would be amazing.
I'm sorry.
I want to make that now. A deep fried peanut butter and jelly.
Dang it! I've started something I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Now you set me on a path.
Lane's like envisioning me with this vat of oil
just grease.
Dropping. Oh my god!
Oh man, it tastes so good.
Dang, dude, that's pretty messed up. No, it's just grilled. It's like grilled cheese, except for you just So
mine's probably been kind of something similar. I haven't really. I've like slipped back into working out, and I have had no problem. Like I missed tonight, so I'll just do it tomorrow. But you're supposed to do it in consecutive days. But I haven't had any like, I don't want to do it. I felt like it's something that I look forward to and actually enjoy doing. I don't know why.
That's good.
Because usually I don't. What have I been infuriated over? Man, I don't know. Oh, geez.
You're just at peace. You're at peace. I like it.
I am pretty much, but it was my duty today that I talked about.
Oh yeah.
Talked about on further up. I'm doing my after school duty, which is car pickup, and I wave cars. And every once in a while, you have days where it's like, and why am I even out here?
Hold on.
Why am I out here? Anybody seeing me? Anybody paying attention? Like I could be waving the whole time, and it wouldn't make any difference because they're just doing their own thing anyway. But there were 3 instances, and I hate this when I shouldn't say hate, but it annoys me when like all the cars are supposed to move up, and then they stop, and then kids come out and get in. Well, I was waving, a car stopped on its own volition, and a teacher walked a kid out to that car, and there was all this space in the front of the line. So disrupted the flow. Moving again. All right, yep, people coming by. They do the same thing. It happened twice. I looked at my watch. It was about 5 minutes until my duty was over, and I was like, whatever, forget it. I'm going inside. And there have been many days where I've done my after-school duty like 20 minutes longer than I needed to. So I kind of justified it that way. But, I mean, I didn't want to talk to anybody, didn't want to see anybody because I was afraid I was just going to kind of go off a little bit. But, yeah, that would be one. That would be one.
Here's what I'm thinking about doing is I'm probably going to one day after school, and I'm doing this for the uppers. Because I know you guys were
film
thinking,
my duty.
I know you guys are thinking what I was thinking. We need more GIFs. We need more memes.
Oh my gosh, dude!
I would take a picture of Lane during duty, and we'll try to catch him with different expressions.
Can you imagine?
And you tell me what you think's going on.
Can you imagine?
In that head of his,
dude. Sometimes I have to wear sunglasses because I will roll my eyes. On bad day, most days are fine, and I like saying hi to the parents, and it's cool. They're a bunch of friendly people. But some days it's
I'm just waiting for Phil to I'll send him with this little video, and it's just the cat just says, "Why am I here?" And it's just laying out there with his hand. He's in the middle of traffic.
I ask myself so much. I'm like, why am I here? Like, just get a green light.
What would be even better is if I can get a picture or a video, and it's just like no one is. It's just a cluster, and like Lane's not doing his job, and there's just people everywhere. And it's like people pulled up on the curb. It's just a mess out there.
It's just the worst. And an after-school duty just stinks because everyone else is leaving, and they don't stay as long as they should. They leave early every day, all my colleagues. And they just go out, and it's like, yeah, I'm here still. I'm going to wait. But it's fine.
It's all good. It's all fine.
Sure.
Oh, my goodness, friends. Well, here we are at the end of another 2 hour plus.
Man. We're back to the old length, aren't we?
We are. For now.
It's good.
For now.
It's really good. And
it's weird because we've recorded some stuff before we recorded this last chapter.
Man, I tell you what. We've already been recording how many hours straight? 2.5.
6? I mean, we've been sitting here at this table for like 6 hours. If not more.
That's got to be one of the wonders of the world, right? I mean,
It's
that is
something.
just...
It's
that's
something.
a full-time job.
It really...
I mean, if we did it every day. So it's a part-time job.
Yeah, but it's a part-time job.
Lengthwise. I mean, lengthwise.
Lengthwise, yeah,
I mean, it's crazy.
You were doing that. You got the doc ready for us, and we've got some...
Doc was ready to go.
Good... just, I don't know, like your Facebook group's awesome, still positive. Everyone's just really cool, chill. We've got a welcoming committee, as you said earlier.
Yeah.
Working on a website, newsletter. Jen's killing it. Thanks, Jen, for that. You guys are wonderful. And, so I don't know. We love you guys.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
It's just wonderful. What? Yeah.
What? We'll have to read it next time.
What's up?
No, hold on. We got time. Just wait.
What do we got? Yeah. This is on the fly. We've got Lane pulling something out of here. This is literally a I don't know what this is.
All right. Well,
this is improv.
Choices, my friend. Choices. This might go 3 hours, but that's okay.
Are you kidding me?
I was thinking about what we needed to thank people for, and we there's a couple things we received in the mail. I was looking at the address there. The Shire, P.O. Box 96, Amanda, Ohio, 43102. Philip Willis very kindly sent us the first Redwall book.
Yes.
For me to read, me and Sarah to read to Winnie and Charlotte. So that was incredibly thoughtful. Looking forward to that. Very excited. So thank you, Phil. Mm-hmm. Incredibly kind gesture. But there was an envelope we received with no return address.
Wow.
And no origin stamp.
Okay.
And in it, a letter for me and a letter for you.
What?
How about you read mine and I read yours? How about that? Is that weird? You read, I've already read it, so you read mine to me. I don't know who sent these.
Okay.
Read it to me.
Okay. This parchment this is amazing, actually, by the way.
I know, right? I know.
Greetings, Sir Lane Smith, from the halls of Minas Tirith. Word has spread across the lands about your good deeds and love for your king. I am honored to have your allegiance in this still dangerous world. I am also told you are in command of something called a podcast, a sort of voice recording device for others to listen to who are from all realms of Arda. This is a fine and noble deed, my friend. And because of this, I have a mighty gift for you.
Read it, bro.
Wow. Aragorn, son of Arathorn, King of Gondor, hereby declare Sir Lane Smith as guard of the Citadel.
That's right.
For the capital
Me and Pippin.
City of Gondor, Minas Tirith. Wow. You will be assigned under one of... Is this real? You will be assigned under one of my finest generals and rangers, Faramir, for your necessary training. Not to fear, I trust this man with my life, and he will take exceptional care of you. Once your training has been completed, you will then be considered a ranger as well. You will then be assigned to me personally as my personal bodyguard, and more importantly, my companion. I will be leaving for one final hunting trip for a fortnight. I look forward to you joining me on this hunt. Your new brother, Captain and King Elisar, King of Gondor. What in the world?
I didn't even... So, guys, here, you're getting the genuine reaction. I know you're probably like, oh, this is staged. It's not.
I literally just...
And you don't sound that way. I don't know why I did that. Sorry. But that was my mind. But this is... Like, Ezra didn't know that this was... I purposely did not message him this because I wanted to do this like this. Okay, so here's yours. This was a letter in the same envelope. I mean, look at it. I'm not making it up. Look at it. Greetings, my dear Ezra, from the lands beyond Middle-earth. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I bring greetings from the undying lands as a mutual friend has brought me great tidings for a wizard as old as I, which I like to point out I am still far from the oldest being, but that's beside the point. Our friend told me you are also in command of something called a podcast, a sort of voice recording device for others to listen to who stretch across all the realms of Arda. This is a fine and noble deed, my friend, and because of this, I would like to extend a formal invitation to you and you alone. I, Gandalf the White, Maiar of Iluvatar,
Holy smokes.
hereby formally invite and grant Sir Ezra Kirk full access to the Undying Lands west of Middle-earth.
Wow.
Been granted passage, my friend.
Guys, I'm in.
I look forward to finally meeting you, my dear friend. Although you are so highly spoken of, I already feel like I know you. When you are ready, I will have a boat meet you at the day and time of your choosing to bring you from the Grey Havens. You may stay for as long as you like and come and go as you please. Your friend, Gandalf, the Lesser Flannel Wizard.
Dude, what?
That's a golden ticket, bro.
I'm in, guys. I've always wanted that. Is unbelievable.
Who do you think did this? We'll talk about it later.
I have
we'll talk
no
about it
clue.
We got to wrap up, but
I have no clue.
I was blown away by that. I don't know who took the time to. I mean, the paper alone is gorgeous.
Is real.
It's real. So it might be, I guess, Gandalf and LSR.
I actually smell a little bit of tobacco.
Get out
Smell
of here.
that. Smell that.
Holy cow.
Don't forget the sniffing. Now that smells like tobacco. Yours does.
Here's my favorite. Listen to this. Parchment? Oh, come on. So if you're responsible for this, this is like really, this is too much. I mean, this is getting a little too real, guys.
Because I'm sniffing the envelope. I'm not even joking.
Just a little too real.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so cool. That's amazing.
But that's something we're going to frame and put up in the studio.
Absolutely.
And I want to frame. I mean, I'm going to keep this envelope.
Look at the markings.
I know, man. I know.
It's real. Okay, wow. Well, that was unexpected. That was very unexpected.
On that note, that'll probably keep us up for another hour talking about that. Weekly
Yeah.
well wishes, formerly fortnight farewells. Oh yeah, I guess we should say we'll have a couple special episodes coming up here. One on the love of language from Tolkien that we'll sit down and we talked about. We're going to be speaking with our buddy Jimmy Nichols about linguistics in Middle Earth and with the languages that he created. And then we're also going to have kind of a bridge episode or two where we do the Pippin's Palantir. So your experiences over this past book and it's just kind of the book to film comparison, that kind of thing. And then we'll get into Return of the King. We want to thank you for making some difficult decisions with us. Next time, we'll be entering Book 5 and the beginning of Act 3, The Return of the King, and Chapter 1, Minas Tirith.
Wow. If you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like us, write a review, leave a comment, or send us a Shadowfax.
We'll see you in a fortnight, and remember, Frodo lives.
I'm not messing with you right now.
Yeah.
It does, but like,
smell that.
Smell the tobacco. You smell the tobacco on that?
I smell that.
And
I
so
gotta
that's Gandalf, right? Only Gandalf would have old Toby.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true, dude.
If Gandalf wrote this and it smells like Gandalf, that's crazy, dude. That is crazy.